Sorry, I'm in a class from 4 to 7.
Hello, and welcome to Therapy of the Absurd, episode 27. How's everybody doing?
Chick Corea passed away, so I'm fantastic. But he was,
Tell us who he was.
incredible jazz pianist, keyboardist, 23-time Grammy winning.
Oh, dang, 23! Wow.
Right. He was 79. but just legendary, legendary.
Yeah,
I
That's
mean,
double the average musician's age.
so I just, whenever, because so many people, Mary Wilson, lead singer of the Supremes. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Like, obviously, everybody knows Diana Ross, but the other lead of the Supremes, especially once Diana left, was Mary Wilson, and she passed away on the weekend. So, just we're all great, but just you hate to hear when our legends,
Christopher Plummer, also
right?
great actor, also passed away.
Sure did.
There was another person too. The dude who, well, not that I.
Wait, but Christopher Plummer's last film, he faked his death, right? Or faked that someone else had killed him, right?
I don't remember that. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
possible.
Wait. You know what?
Possible.
Go see Knives Out. I don't remember.
Oh, that one. Okay. I got that. There was another one that he.
I didn't realize that was his last film. I just saw Knives Out.
Oh, good movie.
Very good movie.
My God, I love
it. I forget some of the intricacy of it. So
it was so good. I just saw it in December. I love it. I was texting my girlfriend. I was like, this is random. I was like, but Knives Out is so good.
Yeah, that was a good one. He also did All the Money in the World, which is about the Getty family. Oh. And he replaced Kevin Spacey because of all the stuff that happened with Kevin Spacey controversy and his really shitty human skills.
Well, and then also there was a big outpouring of love for him on Reddit because he was one of the voices in Skyrim, which is a cult classic video game. So they were, I guess for a couple days just showing everything about him on their subreddit for Skyrim.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice.
So it's nice. We all hope one day people will say things about us, but we kind of want to see them also. So
right, 7 decades is Christopher Plummer's career. 7 decades.
Wow, that's crazy. To have luck to be able to do that.
Right.
It's not luck.
No. I mean, I think that's the dream for all of us in any career to have, to have all those years doing anything is fantastic. Wow. And Chick Corea is actually older. Christopher Plummer was born in 46. Chick Corea was born in 41. So just two giants in their field.
Oh, yeah.
I remember it hit me when Robert Loggia died because I loved one of his last movies. Was a Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
Oh, I remember that.
The bad mobster.
I remember that weird movie. That movie is weird.
That's one of. I think it might be his last movie he did, and I was like, "What a movie to end it on." I mean, it's just a weird movie, but yeah. Well, other than death, what happened this week?
I know they had the Super Bowl, and in the Super Bowl, they showed a lot of really cool trailers for up and coming stuff. I know Judas and the Black Messiah comes out tonight at midnight on HBO Max. That looks really good.
And I was sitting here going, but we already talked about the Super Bowl. No, we didn't. We talked about it on Ed's show on
not ours.
Tuesday, Ed and Amrak podcast. We were all there hanging out with Ed. And we did talk about the Super Bowl, which, yes, as I mentioned on the show, I didn't find out it was Super Bowl Sunday until 7 p.m. that night. I found out because I went to a comedy show and looked at my phone and someone started making Super Bowl memes already. I was like, oh, I guess that happened today. So just an insight into Dan and his world, I guess. It's all quiet now. I'm not interesting anymore.
I know when we were on Ed's show, we also saw the performance. What's his name again? The Weeknd?
Well, we saw little bits of it.
Is that what his name is? Or is it just,
we saw tiny bits of it.
Or is it just Weeknd? The Weeknd, okay.
You know what? It's a good question. I mean, other than knowing a few songs, one that
I don't want to say it wrong.
Okay. Everything indicates The Weeknd, but yeah, The Weeknd.
What if it was Weekend?
Well, that's not.
Yes,
but that's the thing. Is like, wait, I know it sounds like another word, but like, I mean, he loses the E, right? So maybe he likes it that way. I don't know.
Well, I think it would, if it was The Weeknd, it would spell WEAK, right?
I don't know how it's spelled now. Now I'm confused.
And so I don't. You know what though? There is good news today.
Yay!
I'll tell you the good news. Tessica Brown, Gorilla Glue Girl. They were able to remove all the Gorilla Glue from her hair. She underwent a successful procedure, and her scalp is sensitive, but they were able to remove it all. So
that's good.
Do you think how many shows is she going to be on after where she has to answer the same question? So, are you ever going to do that again?
Yeah, we're sure that I'm sure that that's an easy answer.
No, I know what the bottle looks like now. Thanks.
Yeah, that's.
But
horrible,
I think that is. What I think is there's again the interesting question is, what did Dr. Obeng do? Remember, I told you guys that was going to be who was going to be doing the surgery, the plastic surgeon here in Beverly Hills. I'm curious as to what it took to get it out. I mean, I didn't read all the details. I just wanted, of course, but thanks to that show on Tuesday, like what's going on? What's going on?
Yes.
Well, I mean, what if we just find out that the whole thing that got it solved was Greek yogurt?
I mean, like I'm curious. Like that, I'm wondering. Now, here's the thing: there's I'll have to continue to follow it, but some person claims to have put Gorilla Glue on their lip to prove that she was lying. Now, here's the thing: I don't specialize in words like dumb or stupid, but I'm just kind of like, do we care that much about whether she was lying to test it out? Like, if there was anyone, I would judge harshly, and I'm not. I'm like, why? But like, why? Because if anybody's looking now for social media attention, it's that person. I don't think she was, but I think anyone's just like, well, I just want to prove she's lying. Like, really?
Well, but here's why did she think that would simulate what it's like in hair? Is her hair made of her lips?
No, a gentleman did that. A gentleman did that.
Wow.
I don't know.
That he has lip hair. A dude with lip hair. Apparently, just a head of lips.
Hear me out. Apparently, he was trying to see if a cup would stick. Like he tested it out. I guess his point was that it doesn't work on skin. And I'm sorry for bringing it up without. But I think I was like I said, I was more interested in her story, and you know how stuff pops up. So I just couldn't believe the headline, but I was just like, leave it to some guy. That's something that a guy would do.
Why would you why? Why?
Why?
I think actually, she should take a positive route on this. Eventually, I mean, stuff right now. Eventually, she's going to learn to laugh about the incident. But then also, she should say, "Hey, Gorilla Glue, I want to be in your commercials. And I'm going to say one phrase that will sell it. Trust me, that shit works."
Right now,
that's it. That will be the whole slogan.
As long as it
works.
If they pay her really good, I'd do it. I mean, you gotta get some money for all that somehow. Dang, man, poor lady. Jeez.
And that was the one thing I was wondering about the whole thing. I wonder if there's an executive Gorilla Glue going, just 2 more days and we can claim we have the strongest glue. But I'm a cynic, so I make those characters in my mind.
When Ed showed us her TikTok video, I don't know, man, it made me a little emotional because I can't imagine what goes through somebody's head after the fact, right? Like I watched it 15 times. I can't get this shit off my damn head.
Right.
Like that to me, that's terrifying, man.
Yeah, that's the only place I was ever coming from. Just period. Just like
because it already happened. You know what I mean? It's after the fact to go anywhere else other than compassion or like how are we going to fix this?
but I have to say again, we're excited that the surgery removes it.
Good news.
And it looks like it doesn't look like it really took long. It just because it seems like she didn't have to be put under a lot of anesthesia because like I'm looking at the video and everything and it looks like
a video of the procedure.
No, a video of her in recovery. Sorry.
What was her name again?
Tessica Brown.
Tessica Brown. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys got to go check out that TikTok, man. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
I'm just curious about the
procedure.
Like I'm curious about what got it out.
I know that she had to loosen it with oh God, what was it that we saw the bottle of? I know.
I mean, they were trying.
A
I
whole
know
bunch of Greek yogurt.
they were trying acetone at the emergency room.
Yeah, so the acetone, definitely, I'm sure she had to get some of it loose with that before they could really do much. I mean,
right.
Definitely Greek yogurt.
You're so funny. That's what I was trying to say. I didn't say, well, light anesthesia. She was pretty awake, you know.
Oh, okay. So she was awake the whole thing.
Yeah, she light anesthesia.
Just don't look in the mirror, okay?
Why did you
put a mirror over there?
So here we go. Room? So here we go. Listen. So Dr. Obeng broke down his secret recipe for us, explaining it was all just basic chemistry, which we love, and we knew, and somebody had to know. But in a nutshell, he combined medical grade adhesive remover, aloe vera, olive oil, and a dash of acetone. Obviously, it's probably more detailed from a chemical point of view.
Right.
But that's ultimately, I'm sure that they probably, and I'm not, I'm a home chemist, and I did science. My sister's her undergraduate is in chemistry, but I'm sure obviously the medical grade adhesive remover, they just had to probably mix the olive oil and the aloe vera so that it wouldn't just burn her up. But they had to leave it powerful enough to remove the Gorilla Glue, but gentle enough that they could actually gently use it on her. Anyway, I just obviously the story. I was talking about the story in my acting class today because we were just talking about, as actors, the importance of having empathy. And I just said it was just all about, like, what kind of hurry are you in? Where are you going? That's choice.
Don't mess with Gorilla Glue. They ain't no joke. Man, I had a buddy of mine.
So many people are gonna buy this now. Like, it totally works.
Well, I had a buddy of mine who his bumper got cracked really bad, and he was going to have to buy a new bumper, but, he needed to last for a few weeks before he got paid. And he was able to repair and suspend the bumper on the car using, obviously, little bungee cords and Gorilla Glue.
Nice.
And that's what kept the broken bumper pretty much together. And that's how strong it is.
Right.
Really strong.
What it's for.
By the way, if you were thinking of using Gorilla Glue and is it for any bodily product, I also say stay away from J&B Well. It burns like a motherfucker.
What is it?
Is that a paint thinner? What is it?
It's liquid welding for cutting.
That's like the tire quick fix stuff. Stay away from that. I forgot, what is it called? Fix a flat? Like,
don't do that either.
There's a lot of stuff about that.
And that doesn't work for kids either, ladies.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work for anything that goes in your body. I saw a whole Vice News thing on people who want that Kardashian booty. Well, and they would go to Miami with what limited cash they have, or they'd already be living there, and they'd get these street doctors who claim to them that they know what they're doing. And I think we did a segment on this a while back too, actually. And I think you did a slideshow on it, Dan. And don't put Fix-A-Flat in your body, folks. Yeah, don't do that.
Speaking of putting Fix-A-Flat in your body, Dana has put together a presentation about Sunday morning comic strips.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
That was a good segue, right? Did I do a good segue?
That was brilliant. It was brilliant.
I'm going to share screen.
Okay. Let me get in position. All right. So let me go over to the comments to see if anybody's with us on any of this.
Here, I'll move myself down there. There you go.
Just so everybody knows, 8:15. I was totally I'm a kid of the 70s, born Generation Xer, like just card carrying Generation Xer, and so definitely a kid of the 70s, squarely invested in a time where we got newspapers, we got Sunday papers, and the whole nine. And even as a kid, we wanted to partake. So these are some of my top, I believe this is five comics just over the years that I just found interesting. And I think, the cool thing about comics, and I wasn't necessarily a comic book person. There was just something interesting about the short form, about these strips on Sunday.
Yeah, it's like the TikTok of comic books.
It's like the TikTok of comic books. Yes. Yeah. Love it. So what's, you got the first one up? Let's see.
Yeah.
Calvin and Hobbes. So Calvin and Hobbes follows the humorous antics of Calvin, a precocious and mischievous adventurous 6-year-old, and Hobbes, his sardonic, Stuffed Tiger. Set in contemporary suburban United States, it depicts Calvin's frequent flights of fancy and friendship with Hobbes. It also examines Calvin's relationship with family and classmates, especially the love hate relationship between him and his classmate Susie Durkins. And so anyway, I just thought it was interesting. Like as a kid, I think that Hobbes was sardonic, like in his presentation. I thought that was always interesting. Let me tell you guys who the author of and I think I've always had, even though I'm not a great person, I'm not great with sarcasm or even being sardonic. Like I think that type of wit is interesting to me.
That's actually what I really loved about it. It was kind of interesting because I mean the whole idea is he's pretty much Calvin's imaginary friend, but Calvin's imaginary friend would call him out on his bullshit, and that was Calvin would speak bullshit, and then Hobbes would be like, "Oh, are you really sure about you? You're not talking out of your ass there."
This is it was so it was developed by Bill Watterson. He was working an advertising job he detested, and then just developed his used his spare time to develop this comic, and it went into syndication. He said he thought it was perhaps too adult, too literate, but when his 8-year-old son remarked, "This is Doonesbury for kids," and Doonesbury, you guys fell short of the list. Doonesbury would have, if there was a 6, Doonesbury would have been on it. He said, it was then that I suspected we had something unusual on our hands. So that's the story of Calvin.
By the way, Dana, I think you'd be glad to know that Hobbes continued as Calvin got older. There is a continuation cartoon called Bacon and Hobbes. Calvin and the girl from, what was her name again? The little girl. They ended up,
Susie.
Yeah, Susie. They ended up getting married and having a daughter they named Bacon. And Bacon took on Hobbes, and she talks to Hobbes now.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah, go look up Bacon and Hobbes. I don't know if it's official. It's a very beautiful cartoon though, because Calvin knows she's talking to him. He just can't anymore.
Oh,
it's nuts.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
So Kathy is next. No, we're not on Kathy yet. Sorry. I'm gonna look it up like literally in real time. So Kathy was just interesting to me because I think even as a kid, other than say like Lucy, you realize that there are not a lot of comic strips about women. And again, I'm not sure, like, I love sarcasm, and I love, at least as a kid, I thought that was, sarcasm and just wit were just the thing. So Kathy is an American gag-a-day comic strip drawn by Kathy Geiswhite from 1976 until 2010. She says that it was about a woman, Kathy, who struggled with the 4 basic guilt groups. And I think we can all relate to that, of life, food, love, family, and work. And obviously, in 1976, I was not at work, but we all could relate to it. The strip gently pokes fun at the lives of foibles of modern women. The strip debuted in 76 and appeared in over 1,400 newspapers at its peak. And it has been compiled into more than 20 books. There were 3. I don't know if I remember that there were 3 television specials that were created.
Oh, wow.
And Geiswhite received the National Cartoonist Society Ribbon Award in 1992 for the strip.
Yeah, I mean, who would have known that the same face she made in most of her cartoons, right there, the stressed out face, is the same face that Belle Delphine would make to make tons of money with photos on OnlyFans. That's amazing.
That's funny. I think honestly, Kathy, if anything, is like a precursor obviously she still wouldn't be this old, like a precursor to Auntie Acid, which I think would be an interesting, modern cartoon strip. I don't know, because I don't know the origins of Auntie Acid, but she's got great memes all over the web. And I think I've always loved, once Auntie Acid little expressions came into my life, maybe that's why I like them so much. So initially the strip was based largely on Geiswhite's own life as a woman. And they felt that it would make the strip, the syndicate felt that it would make the strip more relatable if the character's name was the same as hers, and it would help people to know that she was a real woman and all that kind of stuff. So just kind of based on her own life, and I guess I'm grateful because, again, as a kid at that time, I think this is probably our only female. I mean, besides Lucy, and Lucy was a kid like us, so it wasn't the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, what we got next? I know our time is.
We got a cat that hates Mondays, even though he doesn't have a job.
So this is just a fan favorite. I can't honestly say I put it on We Love because I can't honestly say that it was one that I necessarily loved. Although, again, sardonic, sarcastic, full of wit, full of all the things, just mocking, whatever. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And so, and obviously Garfield is iconic. They went on to make movies. Garfield.
Oh, yeah.
I think of all of the ones that I've listed here, besides the Peanuts and which we'll talk about in a second. Went on to have a large shelf life. I can't talk shelf life. Yeah. I had to narrate something today, and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't. I felt like my tongue was all over the place. But let me see. Garfield is an American comic strip created by Jim Davis, also originally published in 1976. I guess 76 was a big year. I mean, just to even set the stage, that was the year of American independence. And it was an iconic year for me. I would have been turning 9 years old, but it was a huge time in our country, because we were this big deal about celebrating that we were 200 years away from as an independent nation. And that was just a big deal. So it's interesting to me that of these, the two of these are created the same year, and I think there was just kind of a bursting, at the seam of just thought. But anyway, Garfield chronicles the life of the title character, by John Arbuckle. His human, I mean, not by John Arbuckle, but John Arbuckle's owner, and Odie the dog. And that's about
Odie's ass.
Huh?
He kicks Odie's ass.
Right.
Off the table. So there's another subreddit I really like. I think Dana, I don't think you would like it. I think Stefan would like it a lot. It's called I'm Sorry, John. And basically it's a bunch of dark cartoons where John is controlled by his puppet master, Garfield, who is actually a Cthulhu-like demon. But they draw like Garfield but mixed with like demon stuff, and it's just some of it's super dark and really disturbing. You go, okay, I don't need to see that thing again. But some of it's just goofy, funny. But it's all based on the idea that John only exists because Garfield lets him.
Does he still eat lasagna in that though? Does he still eat lasagna in that?
You know what, they mention it, but there's others. Yeah. But anyways, if you're into that.
That's one of my favorite traits of Garfield. He loves lasagna.
So now that, and that's interesting because again,
I went too fast.
So really fast on Jim Davis. Jim Davis actually was assisted TK Ryan's Tumbleweeds. He was an assistant. And I remember the cartoon. I remember that strip too, Tumbleweeds. He actually created a strip called Norm Nat, but it wasn't successful. And he realized that people were not as obsessed with bugs as other things. And he felt like dogs were already getting a great PR job. And he thought, what would it be like if I looked at a cat? And he grew up on a farm with 25 cats. And that's how Garfield is a cat as opposed to a dog.
Grew up on a farm with 25 cats.
Right.
And Bill Murray voiced Garfield in the live action movies.
Yeah, don't remind him.
Don't remind. Hey man, he still got paid. He didn't need the money.
Wait, wasn't Jason what's his name from Mallrats, like John in those? I
believe so. I think so.
Anyway.
Mallrats, Kevin Smith in the building.
Yes.
And then now we have the Boondocks.
Number 2. So this is obviously this one does not have a 50 year history. Yeah. But what it has, of course, what it brought to the imagination of the world or the country is cartoon of full of a total different culture. And so gotta love Boondocks, period. Gotta love I don't even know where to begin. You can say all things. I loved it. I waited and I was grown up years old when Boondocks came out. So it wasn't something that I could say this happened in my childhood. It was just that, we had basically all black cartoon. It's like anything else. Oh my God.
Now, did the comic strip, I don't remember the comic strip fused with anime, or if it was just the cartoon from Adult Swim that fused the Boondocks with anime in the style.
So, the illustrator is Magruder. Why is his name all of a sudden? And we were just talking about this last week. When you say fused with anime, are you just referring to
art style?
The style of animation that they did for the Adult Swim. They actually fused it with anime. I mean, it wasn't complete anime style, but if you look at it, they did a lot of the frame rates and a lot of the movement like it. It was pretty neat.
Well, Well, first, I do know what anime is. Thank you.
Okay.
It's interesting that that's brought up because I never like and even before I had a child, I knew what it was, but my son is deep into it. Like I've never even looked at it as coming under the style, but in terms of the shooting, maybe. But in terms of the cartoon, this is just Aaron Magruder. There it is, Aaron Magruder. And so let's just talk about it for a split second. The original Boondocks, not the television show, sorry. The cartoon, it aired it aired on Adult Swim in 2005. But I remember the cartoon existed. Why is my research? I had all this together and now all of a sudden it's falling apart.
Why didn't you ever talk again?
So I don't know why it keeps falling apart. Sorry, you guys. Cartoon strip. I just remember I was living in DC at the time, and we were just really excited about what was happening. That it was, I think I can't stress enough that it existed, and what that and somebody getting something out there, because obviously we know that there are icons of color in the comic book world thanks to Marvel. Anyway, so it wasn't that, but I think it was just this idea that they weren't superheroes, that they were these people, and so that was very cool. So written originally by Aaron Magruder, and it came out in 1996, so 10 years, almost 10 years before it came to television. So it was printed in the monthly hip hop magazine The Source in the beginning. Started out in 1997, and then it gained popularity as a comic strip. Now that's something I had no idea. I didn't know it started out.
I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either. And so picked up by the Universal Press Syndicate and made its national debut in 1999. And so it again, the Boondocks, and this is the word, satirizes African American culture and American politics, as seen through the eyes of, I think what happened with the TV show is probably far more exciting to most than the cartoon, because we've got Regina King, who is now one of our potentially a great Oscar contender. I can't recall. I think she did get a Golden Globe nomination for her current film. But I think that was also, again, the excitement around the TV show, that she was voicing two characters. I think it was just exciting that, this woman was voicing these two characters.
Also, Grandpa was John Witherspoon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Rest in peace. One of my favorite actors.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta love that voice.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Totally missed.
Boomerang with Eddie Murphy, man. Coordinate. You got to coordinate.
Got to coordinate. So it takes place in Chicago. And of course, obviously the name, he's named after Huey Newton, and all that good stuff. So just, but as far as there isn't it's definitely the visibility of anime in terms of, I think, even the influence of the art. But I guess I've just never, in my head, we were just excited. And I would say this though, Dan, I knew more. I didn't know about anime until probably after the cartoon strip, like, if that makes sense. Like, so the strip was, hit in 99. So I probably was, but in my mind, I just didn't even really see the link, but it's clearly.
I think in my memory, I think they just added they decided to do it with an anime style to add a little something, more to fit the slot. Mm-hmm. And they did a pretty good job at it. Sure.
So the other thing is too, it says here that no, that's on Instagram. I was trying to just see if there were any, but I think, and that is obviously too, anime is an incredibly popular style of modern animation. I mean, you have, obviously we all have 8:30. I'm just watching the time. We have the basic stuff. That's
the clock, everybody, for the audience. And you now know.
Right. So anyway, it was just exciting, just exciting stuff. So I put it, so it's right up there. But I think, who's, I think, and we're all, who isn't still hoping for some type of revival. We don't know what they're going to do without John Witherspoon, but there's been some effort to revive it on Instagram, but it doesn't seem like,
maybe even like a TV movie or something.
Mm-hmm. So
or maybe Netflix picks it up. I mean, Netflix does need some more stuff,
right? Because it looks like they're saying that the Instagram thing was attempted in February of 2019, but it's not giving me right. Which obviously I had no idea.
I didn't know.
But it's not giving us a lot more more information than that. But anyway, excited about it because this is probably one of the most modern cartoons we have, in terms of not having 40 or 50 years and capturing the imagination of and coming along at a time where you can easily move to television, because obviously of the other cartoons, and besides Garfield getting a live action, we grew up on the Peanuts, which obviously we're about to do next, but we grew up on some of that. Kathy, I would love to see.
It wasn't obvious. You spoiled it for me. I haven't looked through this.
Okay, who in the audience thinks that the Peanuts were not going to be number one? Is there anybody in our audience who thinks that the Peanuts are not going to be number one?
Because I'm a non sequitur and a Far Side fan, but that's just me. I know I'm.
And it's possible I should not. I mean, and the honorable mentions: Far Side, Doonesbury, even Tumbleweeds. Those are all. Far Side was fun. I just remember
Ballard Street.
Okay, don't know that one.
That's the weirdest, most meta cartoon you'll ever see.
Okay, I will look it up after. So here's the thing. I don't even really know what can be said that any of us don't know. Schultz, Vince Guaraldi, captivating characters, like unforgettable, ruled our childhood. All the Christmas specials, Peanuts got all the love, like every bit of love that was available at the time of its inception. It got all the love. It got TV love. It got, I'm sure just like anything else, wow. Now this is interesting. It ran from 1950 to 2000.
Wow.
Now I have a fun fact. Something I didn't know.
That's crazy.
Years.
50-year-old Peanuts. Sounds tasty.
And so all these folks. So it got into the dailies in 1950, got into the Sundays in 52, and everything ended in 2000. That's a real run. I'm just trying to. The strip began as a daily strip on October 2nd, 1950, in 7 newspapers. The strip was 4 panels and showed Charlie Brown. Like, you guys should see some of this early artwork. It's interesting. It showed Charlie Brown walking by 2 other children, Shermie and Patty. But, anyway, Schultz decided to produce all aspects of the cartoon himself, from script to finished art to lettering.
It featured a dog with back problems that could only take care of him by laying on a house within it was 2D. So, because if it was in a 3D view, it would fall off.
The biggest thing is, so the TV specials came in the 60s. That's the biggest thing. That's what I was curious about. When did the TV specials happen? So then the Christmas one being the first one, and then from there. But anyway, you guys, I think.
Oh, there you go. Ronnie said something.
What did Ronnie say?
That's Great Pumpkin.
Yes. I was trying to get us a date on the Great Pumpkin, because I think the Christmas. I think for me, the music was and still is everything. And I did not know that Vince Guaraldi passed away so young, and Vince Guaraldi, who made the music, passed away.
Song, right?
Huh?
The theme song for the
But I think all of it. I think that's something I'd have to just check. But the theme song, but I want to say he did, all that music.
My wife loves that music. I'm serious.
But this is someone who was and she's like, stop it. I'm trying to do something over here.
Yeah, so he did the signature melody, but he did the holiday Christmas Time Is Here. I know he did the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Way about the theme to Taxi.
For his innovative compositions and arrangements, we love Bob James. Now that will be we talked about Chick Corea, but man, when Bob James is, it's time for him. That's going to be a sad day.
My favorite character is Linus, the one with the dirty blanket.
So
the smartest kid, and he has the anxiety issues, or he has to carry the blanket around. That's the awesome part about that. I'm so smart, but I need you.
So anyway, so that's Vince Guaraldi. So interesting you mentioned Linus. He is known for their signature melody, which is Linus and Lucy, and of course Christmas Time Is Here. A boy named Charlie Brown, like he did It's the Great Pumpkin. Those are, he did both all that music. So I just that's Vince Guaraldi. But just such a I heard the story, and it's another time for another day because it's our time to talk with the ladies. Yes. But Charles Schultz heard Vince Guaraldi's music and was just like, he's got to do it. He's got to be our guy. Yeah. And what a great
When
legacy.
I hear him, I think of a bald child with 2 hairs.
Oh my goodness.
I think of the precursor to the Caillou show.
Oh jeez.
Right. So when you hear Casper Fate to the Wind, that's what you think. I'm never sorry.
Have you ever tried to watch Caillou?
Of course, I have a child. That was
Yeah. Did you also think that Caillou's just a whiny little? He like every episode. It's like, how old is he supposed to be? He looks like he's 40. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Once I found out he was Canadian, I was like, that explains everything. It's a whole.
By the way, we have a Canadian on our show next week.
Much respect.
She will inform us on all the Canadian-ness.
I have all the respect for Canadians, all the respect for the country, all the respect for everything. So we've talked about this on our broadcast a couple of times. Comedy in the time of COVID, and so in all the guests that we've had, comedy producers, comedians. We know that in our midst, we have Dan, who actually began his career wholesale in the middle of a pandemic. But tonight we have 2 incredible comedians making waves on the Zoom stages all throughout. And again, we say across the country. We have an anti-racist facilitator who, in order to kind of move past all that she was going through at work, has taken to comedy stages to talk about it. And we have an incredible, I want to say accountant, even though I know that's not her favorite thing to do, but tarot card reader, knows the Bible, but just more than anything, she is a comedian with a full story and an incredible background and so much woven into the fabric of what both of these ladies bring to the stage. Please welcome Jess, the Willing Four, and Victoria Haynes. Woo!
How y'all doing?
Loving life. How are you doing?
Fabulous.
Victoria and the signature eyeshadow. We love it. If you ever want to know how to get that eye game together, Victoria in the building.
I'm here for you. You said I'll be in the green room, so I'm doing green shadow today.
Did you see that? Did y'all see the stroke? Did you see it?
That was my wing.
When I try to do it, it looks like a conductor having a stroke.
That's okay. After COVID, I'm going to come over and hook you up, Dan. You're going to be looking amazing.
And you will have your stroke together. And you will get your stroke. Welcome, ladies.
Make these pop. Do you see how beady these things look right now?
You're going to be serving up eyes. I'm like, is that Diana Ross or is that Dan? I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't tell. I was like, what?
You make me look like Diana Ross. We got to take a camera around and do a hidden camera show because there's some ideas there.
That's funny. Welcome to the therapy of the absurd. So Jess, I have to lead out and ask you a question. Like, I know that this is not something you have to do, but let's just suppose that part of your anti-racist facilitation is explaining Tessica Brown. What do you say? Like, and here, do me a favor. I've explained historical context of Black hair. That's been my approach. I feel like I've been the anti of like, don't just call her stupid. Like, let's talk about it. So then tell us what would your introduction of it be like to colleagues?
Well, I want to make sure we're talking about the young woman who used Gorilla Glue.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in terms of my sort of anti-racist work, I'd focus on empathy. So I mean, I think that there's a long history of Black women being shamed, denigrated, critiqued for our hair. There is a long-standing industry making money off of Black women and our feelings about our hair, and this really connects also to like a broader history of sexism and the profit that's made off of women in general, not feeling good about their appearance. So I find it to be a sad story, and one where there was it's two things. I was an aspiring Luddite before I started in comedy. So I'm only on social media because I've started to do comedy. But, there was a post very recently that I saw, where, a white woman, probably on TikTok was like, one of the great things about being white is, I don't have to pay for my hair. And then, like a black male, influencer was trying to like raise awareness that like, white women buy extensions and do all sorts of things to their hair as well. So just trying to like dismantle that particular stereotype and misconception. And so to me, she was not fully informed about, what to do to take care of her hair. But at the end of the day, it's not for any of us to judge, and it's definitely not for anyone who's not Black and female to comment at all. Would be my anti-racist guidance. Like, go learn about the history, and once you know that, maybe then you can speak to it.
Victoria, how would you, as a comedian, how would you tackle it? In trying,
I thought you were gonna say as an accountant. How would you address that situation? I watched it, and I'm not gonna lie, like I'm the queen of a hairstyle. As you know, tonight I have attached a new look just for you guys. So Stephen, that is all for y'all tonight. So yeah, like as a comedian, since we're gonna put the accounting hat down, I can't make fun of her because would I gorilla glue myself? No. But at the end of the day, am I happy that she's looking better and feeling better and her hair is loose? Yes, because I was like, oh my God, that scalp. Like I was seeing pieces of scalp coming out in my visualization. And like everybody wants to make fun, but the reality is, look, all right, we have all been there. We have been, woke up early, accidentally brushed your teeth with preparation H. Yes. All right. You know what I'm saying?
I've never accidentally brushed my teeth.
It's snowing. Your mama didn't have no boots, so she took you outside and put you in the blizzard with grocery bags on your tennis shoes. We have been there. She is living in the make it work generation. All right. If you don't got hair grease, do you got Vaseline? Okay. Then you go into school. So at the end of the day, she saw that Gorilla Glue and was like, look, bottles look the same. I got 5 minutes to get out. I need to be slick, laid, and tied. She applied the same make it work mentality that Black women have been putting together since the beginning of time. And in this situation, like it came back to bite her. But I've been there. I hosted a show and literally didn't have eyeshadow. And I was like, all right, lipstick, we gonna do this tonight. Because that's what it is. So at the end of the day, I feel like it's just about our generation. I was definitely an Atlanta Blizzard grocery bag boot wearing person. Don't laugh like y'all ain't have grocery bag boots. Y'all can have money. Don't lie.
Let me just say this, Dan, before you say this, I as a mother, and Lisa Nichols tells a really sad story about not having diapers and what she had to do for her child. And I'm not here to certainly be tragic. We want to turn this up. But I've been in a situation where I got caught at a good girlfriend's house and didn't have diapers, and Ali was little and in trouble, and we were there trying to make it work between like I don't even remember what we had for absorption, but between grocery bags, I guess paper towels, and I was at her house, so it's like give me some underwear. Let me see if we can tie it. Let's see what we can do just so I can get him home to get this straightened out, or wherever we were trying to go. And again, I get the difference. Putting him in all of that, and even our grocery bag boots don't have the lasting effect, nor do they send us to a Beverly Hills surgeon, for which again, light anesthesia, medical grade adhesive remover, olive oil, aloe vera, and some other oil. They didn't give the tight strokes of the chemistry, but they gave us the broad strokes.
That's what we used to use when the Chihuahuas got stuck together.
All of that right there.
Yeah, you put that right there, they run away.
So that was, and that's how they got her straight. Yeah, that was my thing. I think amongst us, who has not done something that was great, that in that split second, you saw it, and of course, again, given the history. So anyway, Dan, you were about to say, because we want to, all three of you have this common experience of starting comedy in COVID, so I want to definitely get to that. Dan, you were about to say, though, I cut you off.
No, I think I did it.
Oh, okay. Amen. All right, so
I did that one joke. I can't even remember right now. Damn beer. I need more.
So Victoria, I met through a fantastic workshop called Pretty Funny Women. It was called The Break. What was it called, Victoria, when I met you? Because it wasn't your initial class. It was like the second class.
It was the second round of stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. It was intermediate stand-up.
Right. But she had a special name for it. It was a breakthrough something or other. I can't recall now. But tell us. No, go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a breakthrough class.
Oh, okay. That's what it's called. Okay, I just thought it was something else. So tell us, though, about the decision to study comedy.
Okay. I got together with a few friends from another life when I was living in Atlanta, and I was sitting around eating dinner, and there was someone there that I didn't know, and she said, "Oh, you should do stand-up. There's a school called Pretty Funny Women. I think you should try it." And so I looked at the price and was like, "No, ma'am." And then, like, Jesus did not prophesy this over my life at this price. I shall not.
Think about what made her say you should do this. Like this person that you didn't know. What do you think led her to the comment?
We were talking, and when people get to talking, I get to thinking. Like when Dan picked up that Fred Flintstone mug that was burning empty, and I'm like, what the yabba dabba do what's going on right now with this beer? Like things like that just come to me as I'm socializing. And so, she didn't know that stand-up comedy is very different from,
yabba dabba do mug
and chilling.
That's interesting because I always consider myself more of a Barney Rubble.
No, you are Fred. Like right now, you are in that car with wheels on it, and I don't know why, with no shoes. They were running. Like, put Dino in front of the car. But anyway, like that's
why was their legs more buff?
Right. It's like he was full upper body, just full brontosaurus burger, just taking it all up in here. But like seriously, like I was conversationally funny. And she thought because of that, I could do stand-up, which is, as we all know, as comedians, that is a lie from the pits of hell. But either way, she planted a seed, and then I saw that price, and I just rebuked it in the name of Jesus. And then, went back to my miserable life, and COVID hit, and I just felt this urge to go and just look up her site again because I was miserable. And when I'm miserable, I just be on the internet, And so it came up, and she was doing a COVID discount, which is my favorite word, discount. It's a free. And so
good. I'm glad it wasn't COVID.
Right.
That like can't be your favorite word. No,
that was like the gift that kept on giving. It's like, oh wow, you get to be alone. You don't have to fly out to work anymore, but you may die. I was like, I'm good. We'll see. So anyway, I took the class because it was at the price I was comfortable with. Like, it's something about just lowering the price that makes you be like, now.
Right.
And I was horrible. And I'm so competitive that it's like when I don't do well at stuff, I get obsessed. So after every class, like I would like come in with all these jokes I wrote, and the teacher, Lisa Sunstead, she would be like, were you being Tupac? How does that have to do with like topical humor? But okay. And and she go, oh, like I get it, but where is the punchline? And so I started doing YouTube videos, taking side classes because I wanted to get better. And then, and I got over my fear of like actually telling my jokes not on my page and doing open mics. And then she invited me to do the intermediate class. And at that point, I had started getting obsessed with comedy, like literally getting high every time I wrote a joke, high every time I told a joke. high every time I did a mic. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, do you want to be a comedian? I'm like, absolutely not. I just want to do this. I just want to write and tell jokes and have freedom where whenever I want to have a show, as long as I got a mic, I have a show. And whenever I want to do something, I can do it. Like if I'm an actor, I got to wait till I get an audition. I got to wait till it's something I like to enjoy myself. If I don't like my role, that's my fault because I wrote it. If I'm a stand-up and I can rewrite it. And if I want an opportunity to perform, find one of the millions of mics, get up there and do it. And so I fell in love with pure freedom and creativity.
Woo, woo, woo.
You don't want that cut freedom and creativity because that's not good. That's when you buy like parts of your cake with a package and everything, and then the rest of it. You said, I made this myself. It's like, that says Betty Crocker. Shut up.
Oh my.
Jess, tell us, because I saw Jess on a mic. I think, Jess, what mic did you make it into? Was it the down mic? Where did I see you first?
Well, I started off at down mics and have gradually expanded. In fact, both Dan and Stefan were present for my very first mic, where I just wanted to observe and was trying to figure out actually if I wanted to take one of Bobby's classes. I was about halfway through her book at that time, but really, I mean, I think what brought me to comedy was this anti-racist work and the vulnerability and like the the personal journey that is part of going into meetings and going into training sessions time and time again with mostly folks who are well-intentioned and want to be part of the change, but who, and I'm talking mostly about white folks, but not solely.
Not me. I'm a good one.
Deeply lack humility. Who lack humility.
Okay.
And as part of that, then will come wanting to learn something, but then at the first moment that they're pushed to consider something beyond their perspective or worldview, we're in debate mode, we're in critiquing, we're into all sorts of things that then silence and make the space incredibly not just uncomfortable, but actively unsafe, particularly when we're talking about a group of colleagues. And to be an anti-racist facilitator is to like hold that space, like acknowledging that, the white folks have things to learn, but also acknowledging that folks of color don't always want to be witness to white folks' learning journey. Some of them before that training session have said things for years that were being overlooked. So might be sitting there skeptical, like, oh wait, so now we're doing this, like however many years later. And then there's the folks of color who are in that moment being courageous and who are speaking up, even in the face of well-intentioned, naive resistance. So it's a lot. And what actually I was first drawn to just watching comedy, which, I enjoy, pop culture and, watch, I love romantic comedies. Actually, that's sort of my not so guilty, like, I've got no shame in it. I've always loved romantic comedies in terms of movies, but
full Hallmark channel.
Well, it depends. Like if I'm watching the Hallmark channel, y'all should be like, "How you doing, Jess?"
I'm gonna be thinking about this. I'm gonna be thinking about this every time I do the jokes about my wife watching romantic movies, and you're there.
There are levels of quality.
I was gonna say we're talking about quality. We're talking about
quality.
Yeah, not Hallmark.
We're talking about
more like HBO or HBO.
Hallmark movies are trashy romantic comedies where no one has sex.
That's why we're talking about HBO and Netflix. HBO and Netflix.
We're talking Brown Sugar, Love Jones, Harry Met Sally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sleepless in Seattle.
The Hallmark Channel. I'm pretty close to rock bottom. Okay. But so I was watching a lot of comedy, and this was pre-pandemic. But then the pandemic hit, and I actually had a COVID scare pretty early on. And things, and by the summer, there was the uprisings happening across the country, and so like the level of intensity had just gotten so high, and I got to like you only live once, and I also got to like there are certain truths, and I would say that what I bring to my comedy is like part of what I think part of the time, but it's a whole set of expression that is not welcomed, invited, or appropriate in a professional setting, but that like I needed an outlet for. And so I've been loving, reading about and learning about and watching, Black comics, and especially comics of color who have an explicit social justice stance, and learning a lot more about like the power of political satire, especially when like the message that Black women get is that like we're too angry or we're too expressive or we're too whatever. And, I've had colleagues who, would say that like, I'm acting a fool or I'm, going too far. And it's like, well, if I got to act a fool to be heard, I'm going to start acting a fool. And if I don't know how long I've got on this planet, I believe in nonviolence, but I also believe in going down swinging. So I'm going to swing some punchlines and I'm going to be on the record with some stuff.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Bringing punchlines. I want to shout out because we've got a great guest host coming in here to the mix. I was trying to bait him earlier with the Tessica conversation. I was trying to bait Ed. I didn't know what the deal was. But we want to shout out some folks in here. Lynn Sun is here. We've had Lynn Sun on the broadcast. Fellow comic, fellow sister. Nicole Denise is in here. Nicole Denise says, when Jess runs for office, she has my vote. So we love that, and
I'm trying to get out of government. I used to work in local government, so.
And Nick Craft Crew, let me see. He says, "Oh, that's funny." Nick says, "Speaking of turn up, y'all should do a mid-show shot every show to keep the vibe going." Okay. Thanks, Nick. Always.
Let's bring Ed in really quick.
Yes, bring it in there, please. I was wondering, hey, Ed.
Ed
Wow.
How y'all doing?
Okay. So and prayerfully, Ed, you will have an opportunity to have both Jess and Victoria on your broadcast. They are great comments.
Oh, definitely. I've been enjoying every minute so far. Jess, Victoria, salute.
Salute.
Is the hair getting really long?
It's the curliness, man. It's getting there. So I mean, I'm not gonna put any. I'm gonna put gorilla snot on it to tame it.
Right.
Not the glue.
Dana knows what's up. I mean, we've been keeping up to date with that. So hopefully, God bless that girl, man. I hope everything gets better.
Right. Well,
yikes, man.
She can run her fingers through her hair, so we're excited about that.
Yeah, you can see her face is just terrified. She does not know what to do. So I was like, whoa. I wouldn't know what to do either. So
no,
I mean,
yeah, same.
Well, for a guy, even shaving your head with that stuff on your scalp is dangerous.
That's a no-go.
Peel off your whole.
Yeah, you'll scalp yourself,
epidermis,
like old school scalp yourself.
Yeah. So I'm like,
that's no joke.
But thanks for having me on, by the way. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So, Jess, what do you see yourself as, and we definitely want to get back to Victoria, because Victoria, you got a couple of day jobs these days. You read tarot cards, and I definitely want to talk about that. Jess, do you see yourself being able to come out of, or do you aspire to come out into the world full time as a comic? Do you aspire to be a Trevor Noah or whatever?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Trevor Noah. I would say that in terms of the comedy that I'm watching closely right now, Trevor Noah and Amber Ruffin from from Seth Meyers show. I mean, I think that like I find that a lot of my writing is topical. It's what's happening in the news. Like I just rip stuff from the headlines because there's so much absurdity there and such easy satire. So maybe, I mean, I will say that like I like consulting. I like facilitating. I've got. I write, theoretical articles about, racial equity frameworks. And so I think for me, what I'm mostly trying to figure out is how and whether I can be one holistic person with these different sides, knowing that there's a whole group. I mean, as I watch like racial equity leaders and, who are authors and who are speakers, and then as I watch comedians, particularly comedians of color, what I'm noticing is that either way, if I ascend further, I'm going to be attracting a whole bunch of trolls, a whole bunch of haters, a whole bunch of folks trying to say all sorts of things. And with that, it would be very easy to attack my comedy, to undermine my racial equity work, to suggest that because I'm saying a truth in one place, that means I can't possibly be neutral or unbiased or patient or, understanding with folks who are on a learning journey. And in fact, I would say that the comedy is giving me a space to be able to come back time and time again with that flexibility and with that like lightness that I was losing when I was just trying to be serious every day.
Well, yeah, I was actually I work in software, and I was actually, not getting in trouble. Adults don't get in trouble, but I was getting the eye for jokes I would tell at work. And so I had to, when I got into comedy, I'm like, I'm at work now. I can actually focus on that. And they're like, you don't tell as many jokes. And I go, no, I got a place to do that now.
Exactly.
I don't need, you guys don't laugh anyways. They're engineers doing it over there.
Well, Jess, the ancestors just want you to know that they approve and that they lived and died so that you could say things like racial equity framework. Like all the ancestors just called me immediately, like, tell us more, tell us more. Anyways, I'm just saying, that's what they said. That's what they said. Victoria, tarot card reader, mother, father, talk to us about what informs your work, your comedy, and your days coming to the big screen.
Wait, I thought you were listing things that you're like, you're a tarot card reader and a mother and a father, and then I got
apparently I'm a baby mama and a baby daddy, so I'm excited.
No, and I apologize. Let me
the first ever.
That was
just confused me. Only confused me.
That was an inside joke. My bad to everybody. So her parents leverage a great influence on the work, and it's exciting to me when she talks about the nexus of her mother and father, which is her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, now we done got to a tangent, and I'm like, okay, I'm a mother, father, tarot. Now, what about that is like, I'm supposed to be talking about that relation to my comedy?
Yes.
Okay.
But your actual mother and father, not the tangent mother and father that I just.
Mother, Father, God, in the name of Jesus, we're calling
right.
Well, the funny thing is, I got raised very religious and spiritual at the same time because my parents decided that it would be smart to get together when they're totally different. My dad was a Southern Baptist from Birmingham, and my mom was like a hippie from Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Yeah. So that deed was good. It was fully appropriate because I showed up. Yeah. And it was the most foolish decision. Because my joke is like I can read the Bible and tarot cards, and it's very confusing. Because it is like I be giving readings and be like, all right, your Akashic record says this, and sometimes I'd be like, all right, we need to pray because God is over this situation. I am a special reader. I call on everybody, the Lord, the angels, your ancestors, whoever's out there, I'm calling on them. But like what I learned is to think for myself because I grew a really strong foundational hatred for both religion and spirituality.
Mm.
Like everybody's like, yes, hate religion. This is LA. And it's like, nah, I hate all y'all. Because the truth is, like, spirituality became a religion. Like, it became a club to get people to not think for themselves and feel better than other people. Like, I don't know how many times I went into the dance studio before, the apocalypse. And I go in there trying to do my dance hall class. I'm just trying to walk by. But Lord, God forbid I pass somebody that's coming from yoga class. They got a full-blown attitude and they just did yoga. Why all the yoga people always got an attitude? Like you tapping into your higher self, and your higher self is a bitch. Is this a clean show? Like, is this a clean show? Because I feel like
no, you're good.
I'm on this shit
right now, and I'm calling up people's higher selves bitches, and I just I'm excited about getting canceled because this is the time when nobody knows you. Just let it go. Like because I developed a this is all herd mentality BS. I was like, look, the people in the Bible wasn't reading the Bible. Therefore, they was doing something different to do all the stuff in the Bible. So let me just stop talking to y'all and figure out what they was doing. And then as far as spirituality is concerned, just tell me the rules and let me figure it out for myself. So I have like a circle of what I call grounded spiritualists who smoke cigarettes, sleep with losers, meditate and work on their higher self and understand that like it's a process and we're all human beings and it's all about self-acceptance and growth.
That's a really odd set of commandments.
Right. Well, if anybody wants to join my church, and by the way, donate because ain't nothing free in spirituality. No, I'm just kidding. I had a self-realization that like I probably hate religion and spirituality because I had to pay for it, and I like free stuff.
Planes don't fly themselves.
I was like, fuck this. I got to go straight to God. God is free. Y'all tripping. Like, I want all my money. I will learn how to get in the Akasha records. I'll teach myself how to read because $30 is too much. So at the end of the day, like it helped my spiritual growth. But yeah, like through my dad is still very religious. I remember we had a falling out and he told the whole family it was because I don't believe in Jesus. And I was like,
wow.
Like, actually, I do believe in Jesus. Do I believe that he like had Hawaiian silky hair?
No.
Do I believe his homeboys were actually named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and they went to Beverly Hills High School? No. But do I believe in everything he stood for and what the concept is? Yes, Father. Yeah. And then with my mom, like, because she's a hippie, she's just like, whatever. She calls me up like, Victoria, I had a dream, interpret it. Victoria, I had a vision that Melania is divorcing Donald Trump. But she leaves the vision out, and it's like, I saw that Melania is divorcing Donald Trump. And I'm like, where? And she said, in my vision. And I'm like, ma'am, you need to prepare me. Are we in the world or aren't we with this conversation?
Wow.
So all of that to say, like, they about to make me rich, like, because the conflict and also like just the full blown, like I am on my own here and I'm judging everybody for the foolishness and, the self-acceptance of having to be like, Dad, I'm not going to church anymore because I don't feel like it. And also they're homophobic and inside of me, I just know it's wrong. And if they think it's right, let them do that. I can get my peach cobbler and fried chicken after church, straight at churches. So I don't even go to church. I go to church.
Sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm. Like that was part of the reason too. Like they feed you good in the black churches, Ed. So if you ever got by one, you just go in and like go to the front and get saved. They'll feed you.
Right.
I grew up in LA, so I know. Yeah.
In the white Italian Catholic churches, like where I was at, they're like, hey, we're going to have a good Italian dinner for this fundraiser. And you go there and it's like cans of stuff that was made quickly. Here you go. $20. Save the church.
I love when you said made quickly instead of unseasoned. Because it's
they're Italian. They got
my grandma can make some chicken real quickly, but I could tell by the color of it that it's going to be good. Yes. I'm like, why is my chicken red? This is delicious and unhealthy. At the
same thing with mac and cheese. Same thing with mac and cheese.
Oh my God, mac and cheese.
Just the color will let me know. So yeah, long story short, I rambled because I'm an Aquarius. Did you get your answer?
Right
my birthday just passed.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ed, are you an Aquarius?
I just turned 40. Yeah, I just turned 40 on Sunday.
Wait. No, we have the same birthday.
What?
February 7th?
Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
You're older now.
Yeah, Aquarius is in the building.
Yes, another alien in the house.
Yeah, that's exactly the best way to describe me. Yeah, best way. Alien, chameleon, you name it.
Aquarians are aliens. But especially February Aquarians are aliens. January's turn into Oprah. The February's live in an Earth ship and tell everybody, y'all need to get this shit together. Commercialism is going to ruin everything. I don't want nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
And then also
one thing I learned about Aquarian women, though, do not, and I repeat, do not. I mean, that just goes for woman scorn, but do not piss off an Aquarian woman. Do not.
I mean, yeah,
seriously,
I already done.
Don't, just don't. It's bad news. I've seen it.
It is. It's a fact. I've unleashed the beast once a month,
If you call that a beast, that's like an omega. That's just like, whoa.
So Victoria, your higher self is a bitch too? Is that what you're saying?
I call her she's what I call the regulator. She's the
we love it. We love it.
The queen of swords. Everybody that gets it, like nobody gets it that doesn't deserve it. And nobody gets it that ever forgets
it. They didn't have
it. You ain't gonna forget it, and then you're gonna be a better person, but you ain't never coming around me again.
Is her name Karma? Your higher self?
I feel like her name is Carmisha. At the end of the day, like, she ain't got time for the BS. Like she, she's like, I'm gonna go ahead and drive it in a little bit because I think you need to understand. So yeah, don't piss off the Aquarius because they have no sympathy.
No, we don't. But at the same time, we have this humongous heart. We love to give. We love to entertain. We love knowledge. We're like, a lot of us are night owls, but we could easily turn into morning people if we choose to. But I gravitate towards the same people. But one thing's for sure, I have respect for everyone, but I never want to piss off an Aquarian woman ever.
That's okay.
Ever. It's just not the business,
don't make
man.
my mom mad.
It's just like,
I know that
Gemini.
Our time is pushing on. I want to ask Jess a question. So, Jess, what is your dream stage to perform on? Like we've talked about, like I just feel like so. And the reason I asked, let me just say that, and I've completely heard you, and so have the ancestors, about the greatness of your work and and being able to be the things that you want to be. Hey Nicole. But so I think what's interesting, and one of the reasons that I wanted to have you guys on, and we're clearly going to have you both back, is that you guys have performed mostly on Zoom. Like, I don't know if you've had, even in the Zoom time, every now and then, there's shows here and there. Victoria's here in California, but Jess, you're in DC. Yeah. So as soon as you're able or it's available, even if it's a local spot, like where's the first place that you're running to go hop on a mic, and a stage? Where are you going?
Well, I don't know if I've underscored as much as I can how close to the brink I've been pushed, in terms of what brought me to comedy. I keep just imagining even the first open mic I go to, when I'm actually holding the mic and I'm about to say what I want to say in terms of comedy. Just give me a mic, okay? I'm ready on the stage, because frankly, I'm just happy that I'm not going to be on a street corner with a bullhorn or with a speaker.
Right. No, I feel that. I feel that. I lived in DC a million years ago, so all the spots, I don't think the Black Cat is there anymore. There's no Black Cat.
Yeah, I'll feel blessed and privileged wherever I get to go. But I mean, I'm just loving open mics. And so getting to do open mics with an actual mic and with, actual, presence interaction is going to be, I think, a lot of fun. But also, so, I love Bobby's book, Bobby Oliver, Dav Comedy. And, she talks about different types of comedians, and I will be delighted if I, end up being a comics comic, where I don't end up becoming widely known, but I become known amongst comics, and I just get to enjoy being around creatives. So for me, it's not so much which stage, it's more so that that what I am saying is heard, is understood, and helps to push consciousness and raise consciousness. Also, I'll just quickly say that, I know my handle is a little, awkward. I'm pretty awkward, turns out, but the willing, just kind of, it sums up sort of my life, philosophy or ethos. It's being willing to, live, love, laugh, in the light. So, and there's so many foursomes. So there's joy, pain, sunshine, and rain, Frankie Beverly Mays. There's, the four, quadrants, north, south, east, west. There's, the visionary, healer, warrior, etc. And so I just find that 4 is a very powerful number for me. It's about stepping into all the different manifestations of expression and of life. So that's what I'm about. For me, it's not about the stage, but I'm very excited, as COVID starts to, as the vaccine and everything comes, to have some live experiences. Yeah.
How did you find Bobby's book? How did you like? Did you hear about her book before you entered? Like before you came to her mic?
Like, if someone had told me a year ago that I would be going to stand up mics and actually performing, I would feel like, I would feel like they were not talking about me. So I've heard some other, actually both you, Dana, and Victoria have to some extent like expressed sort of like a spiritual or religious calling. I think there's some synchronicities that are lining up. Things have just been gradually unfolding, and I'm just along for the ride. Okay. So like I literally don't exactly remember how I found it, but I know that like I started to find out about, open mics, and then I found about Tao, and it matters a lot that Tao has like open safe space mics, so to have my very first mic be an LGBT mic was like extremely supportive and affirming. And then like created foundation for me to go to others at Tao and then other places. So like now, I mean, this mic I go to with Victoria, not with her, but she also goes to it. It's like I've got like these safe space mics with Tao, but then I've got what I call like the free speech, like, say anything mic that I go to where it's like there's an outright white supremacist who's going to that mic. And I'm glad that I go to that space because it helps to remind me of that 40% of the country that is not going to ever get or appreciate my comedy. And then there's a New York mic I go to that's mostly like, 50-year-old white guys, straight white guys. And I enjoy noticing what we have in common, mostly talking about our wives. And, and I enjoy noticing land in which of my jokes they don't get. Also, my wife's a New Yorker, so being around a bunch of New Yorkers just amuses me from my Midwestern ways. So I know that that's kind of an indirect answer to your question, but that's like my honest, holistic answer.
Very cool.
It's funny, Jess, you bring that up with a straight up like white supremacist, like being there on the open mics. It reminds me of this man named Daryl Davis. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, I'll look him up.
Daryl Davis, the blues musician, he basically spent like the past 30 years as a black man befriending members of the KKK and basically having them leave the Klan.
Oh, he'd like reform them, right?
You gotta read up on this cat. He went on the Joe Rogan podcast, I think one time, and he just kind of outlined exactly what he does. And I'm just like, you can't do that in LA.
I would love to hear that just one time. It was this easy. You look stupid in that outfit. I think you're right. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, if only it was that easy.
Yeah.
Just one. Only just one.
That's powerful. That is so powerful.
Yeah.
I'm going to look him up and I'm going to pray for him because that takes some real patience, some real generosity of spirit. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have it. One of my favorite jokes is just saying that, like, my job is pretty much to tell white people you're still racist. Kind of the opposite vibe as to what I'm
just a little bit.
The forgiveness, the openness that he's bringing to folks but I actually have a tremendous amount of empathy. Like, I'll just say, like, as disgusted and jarred as I was by the events at the Capitol on January 6th. I'm very clear that these folks are being scapegoated and that like the people who are most fundamentally responsible, including Trump, also include people who are walking the halls of Congress and, the Senate right now, and who are, because they're able to point to the outrageous behavior of the folks who are rioting, are able to distance themselves as if they were not involved, when in fact they were fundamentally involved and deeply complicit. So,
Gaslighting's a real thing. It's the
history of racism, is gaslighting.
It is. Amen. Victoria, what stage are you running to? Last question from me.
What stage?
Have you been on a live stage yet?
Oh, where am I? Oh, you talking about my open mics or upcoming shows?
Anything. Yeah, anything. Like, because have you been on a stage with a real mic in your hand besides Zoom yet?
Yes, I didn't have a real mic in my hand because we were being COVID conscious. But on my birthday, I did my very first live open mic And I did it at the Dow studio outside.
Oh,
and they
okay,
sang
man.
happy birthday to me because Bobby, that's what happens. Like, guys are like, yay. I'm like, y'all need to come to these all women. Mike, you will get nurtured. You will get breastfed. She was like, Victoria. Don't make that face, Stefan. She was like, Victoria.
This is really hard to taste over the Zoom.
Like, Victoria, Lynn called me to tell me that you were coming, and I was just coming outside to make sure you didn't get lost. Come in. Also, happy birthday. And then all the women joined in unison. Happy birthday. They didn't even know me. And they harmonized for me.
Oh no, I love the love that comes from Dow Comedy Studio.
Yeah, and so then I was like, great, now I got to come back next week because I don't even know if I bombed or not because ain't nobody going to let you bomb on your birthday. They was like, like, stop laughing. No, you better not laugh unless it's funny. So it was good, but I'm going to have to keep doing it when it's not my birthday and, But yes, I just did my very first in-person standing up telling jokes.
Congratulations. I know we are like our whole show clock is blown. I'll take it, you guys, but so happy to have Jess, also known as the Willing Four. Love, light, laughter. What did I miss? Love, light, laughter.
Live, which live, love, laugh.
Well, you have to do that.
You have to live. But I mean, not everyone is willing to live. I mean, and these are very hard times.
Real talk. Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
And we're waiting on Victoria's eyeshadow tutorials coming soon to YouTube.
Ooh, nice.
Well,
I would love to do that.
I gotta say, I always love Jess's writing. Whenever we go to a mic, the amount of work she puts into just 5 minutes is awesome. And then Victoria, always hilarious. I always like the personality. On another show, we're gonna have to ask you what it means when you get a tarot card raid, and the card that you get is the instruction one.
Oh my.
No stomach cramps today, okay? Promise, no stomach cramps today. These guys are notorious for that. Oh my God.
Y'all are funny. Well, ladies, thank you. Jess, we know what time it is where you are. So thank you for
thank you.
You're a trooper.
You're very much a trooper. And Victoria, please hang out because I think if there's time for our segment after our guest Carol, if you feel like it and you're here, we'd love for you to chime in. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, I'll hang.
Okay.
All right,
cool.
Love
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Jess.
All right.
So since we have blown, please do not make my stomach cramp. Please, guys. Please.
I take that as a challenge, Ed. It's like I'm gonna make your abs stronger. Like you're going to get a 6-pack by hanging out.
There's even like Dana, just her tone and delivery just makes like it starts, and I'm just
he's like,
I don't know what it is. It's like I look at like people like Dave Chappelle. I just look at them. Dave Chappelle, Tom Segura, Richard Pryor. They don't have to say anything. I just look at them. And I'm just like, fuck, I'm about to laugh.
I just remember this one thing.
And then the delivery comes. I'm just like, no, please, no. And then boom, it just hits.
Ed, you made my night, man. You made my night. Because I felt like I felt like on Monday I had 2 great mics, and then when I actually had my show on Tuesday, like I felt like I bombed. So I was just like, oh my God, what's up with good mics and then a bad show?
It happens.
Isn't like bombing kind of like the you gotta like what is it? Kobe Bryant said you miss most of the shots you don't take. Is that right?
That's Wayne Gretzky, but it might not be Wayne.
Yeah, Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky.
It might be Michael Scott. Might be Michael Scott.
Well, no, see, that's the thing, comedy, music, I'm sure even when you go to do acting and you're trying out for a part,
totally.
You're going to have those times you're on point and things work out the way you would hope they would work out. And another time, nothing goes
not
right.
so much. Right.
You could say hi and it's already bad.
I mean, do you guys go back and actually watch like some of the clips from previous episodes and just kind of be like,
you're supposed to watch your
previous episodes of this podcast or our shows?
Yeah, just any, both. Yeah,
I don't watch enough of this show.
I don't watch enough, but I watch it now and then.
I watch every set. Now that's what I do. I watch every set. Like, and it actually messes with my ritual. Like every now and then I'll have a technical glitch and I won't have a recording. And I feel like I can barely sleep because I don't know. And if I didn't do a backup, which is at least an audio, and I can't hear it, it just drives me insane. So I definitely watch because you definitely want to hear what you got right. Even in the midst of what went wrong, you want to hear what got right.
Okay.
Sometimes that one thing that's really funny to you, you're going to have to communicate it better. And so you got to watch that to see what's going on in people's faces. Yeah. Because you could have something that's really funny. You were laughing for 5 minutes. You wrote it down. The way you said it did not work. You better go rewrite that.
Be the way you were.
You know what? That's so true, Steph, because I always tell the story about my 87 Nissan Sentra that didn't go on neutral or reverse. It just went in park and drive. And I'm trying to explain to people in a very serious note, like, hey, I almost died in this car, and people find it hilarious. I'm just like, what? Like, why are you laughing?
Well, you're alive.
Like, no.
It's funny now.
I mean, the first line is clear that we're not having a different conversation. We're having the conversation where you live to tell about it. So it was, and there is something that, like, this is going to sound so insane, but I think maybe comics can relate. There's something about being scared within inches of your life that is funny, because if you live to tell about it, like trying to replay the story, trying to explain it back is, like, it's crazy.
Well, maybe our next guest will tell us a moment where they were within an inch of their life. But that's not what we really brought her here for. Right. Stefan, the intro.
You got an intro, or because I got something.
All
I have to share is that she's amazing. I think in this time of COVID, we have seen, and we've had some comedy producers on, and she is definitely one on the continuous stream of people actually that have not let comedy rest, despite the fact that stages are dark and rooms are dark. And she's someone that I feel like I may have learned about late in the comedy or Zoom journey, but she is, like we talk about in the racial, where we talk about allies, but if comedy ever had an ally, if they ever had a hero, in terms of somebody that's doing shows. I mean, we have heroes and teachers like Bobby's. We've got Lisa Sunstead. We've got so many great folks out here teaching, the whole Flappers team, but someone who is almost like an evangelist in the world, making sure that there are drive-in shows, that there are park shows, that there are still Zoom shows. People who, I don't want to take up all her interview time talking about her, but Carol actually just amazes me. She absolutely amazes me because, like, she has a day where she will do a park show and then she'll have a drive-through show, or whatever it is, and just there is no boundary for her wherever we can make it safe. And and she'll probably talk about it, but unfortunately COVID kind of nipped her in December. But anyway, we just want to welcome the entire time she oozes sweetness and love and happiness.
That's awesome.
Encourage. Let us welcome to the stage Carol Newell. Woo!
Hi, you guys. I'm out in the wild. I actually just finished an open mic here in Griffith Park. I do not let anything stop me from putting on shows.
Wow.
Awesome. Even when I had COVID, I had my co-producer host and run my shows while I was out sick, just because I have to create these opportunities for myself and for others. Otherwise, I mean, like, back when I started doing it, like, I was one of the only ones, but now there's a lot of them. But I feel like, I just have to keep it going. I just can't stay home. Who wants to stay home? But so I got park mics, I got park shows, I got drive-up shows, I got a monthly show where people actually pay to come see us. And if the show makes money, the comics get paid, which is unheard of in this time, and not very common in Los Angeles to begin with. Yeah. But last month we made $400 and everybody got paid. Yep.
Nice. Nice.
Pay for your art, people. Don't just steal it. Pay for your art.
That's right. I mean, $25 a car if you bring 4 people. How cheap is that? You can't even get Netflix for that.
Right.
Yeah. So that is one of my pet projects that I really love, and like Dana was saying, she's done my park show and she's done my Zoom show. I still have my Zoom show. I was one of the first people to put a Zoom show up right after the lockdown last March, coming up on my anniversary of that. March 29th was my first Zoom show.
Wow.
And
Nice.
yeah, I have not missed a show. I did have a guest host, but I was still there. I pulled her in and introduced her and then set her off. And then I went and did some other stuff. And I'm going to have her back this Sunday. Wendy Wilkins, good friend of mine, also a great producer and script writer. She's got a lot of projects out there, and runs an open mic on Tuesdays called Yonder Mic. And then, she's all over the place. She just did a show out at Fort Irwin last week, you guys. So, yeah, I mean, stuff is happening out here in the comedy world, with or without the Comedy Store or the Improv or the Laugh Factory. Comedians are not going to stop telling jokes. That's not going to happen. No, you know what I mean? Like, we have to. It's like therapy, we have to tell jokes.
If I don't tell jokes, my heart stops.
Right? Like,
yeah. No, my doctor told me I have to take a note everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Steven and Dan have both done my Zoom show, which is a lot of fun. So it's a good time. I mean, like, honestly, there's not very many nights that I don't have something going on in the comedy world, and I have a full-time job during the day. So
wow.
Yeah, I stay busy.
That's love, man.
I'm doing the full-time job right now as well. Well, full-time plus I work in software. And this week I've actually been to a show every single night, and I wasn't going to go to a show on Friday. I was going to rest. And then I went to go see Stefan, and I won tickets to go see Dana Eagle. I'm like, well, I know Dana Eagle. I'm going to go see Dana Eagle.
Great.
Of course I'm going to on Friday.
I love her. Yes.
I don't care if I'm tired. I'm going to go watch Dana Eagle on Friday.
Fuck
I'm like, cool. I'm like, cool. And then I'm like, wait, do I get to sleep this weekend a little bit? I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I do 2 shows on Saturday. I do the park at Pan Pacific Park at 3:00, and then I do the NoHo Diner in North Hollywood. That's a drive-up open mic. So, and then once a month we do the Carpool Comedy there at that same location, and that'll be February 20th. Tickets are available, so go on the Eventbrite and look for Carpool Comedy, or you can look me up on the Instagram at carpool_comedy. Yes, I have to call it the Instagram and the Facebook because I'm over 50 and it's in the AARP rules.
Carol, it's called Carpool Comedy. Do you only accept cars with 3 or more people in them?
No, we'll take any number of people in your car. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We had 18. We sold 18 tickets last time, so it's a pretty big parking lot. We can fit everybody in there. Don't worry. Woo. And if we have to get a bigger parking lot, we will.
Nice.
But this one's nice because it's at the NoHo Diner, so you can get food. They'll bring it to your car. They have car hop service. They have a restroom inside. So that's important when you're doing comedy outdoors. Going to the bathroom is a necessity. So it's been nice having the NoHo. We have like a symbiotic relationship where they basically solicited us to come and move the show there because we used to do it at Fry's in Burbank. And so, they're like, why don't you come over here and then, support us? We'll support you. And it's been great doing the show there. We love it.
Nice.
NoHo Diner.
Alive. Yes. Make sure you have the paddles. Clear.
Wait, I have a question, Carol, actually, because funny you should bring up the because I'm obsessed with comedy, stand-up, any comedy for years now. And I always ask the question, I'm like, okay, what is the one thing that here in LA, because I'm born and raised in LA, what can you do to overcome all these restrictions, all these don't do this, don't do that? And how did initially, let's take it back a year ago when you first heard that everything was shutting down. it does one or two things to people. It completely frightens them and they flee, or they're like, no, let's stay and figure it out. So obviously you're one of those people. So what was the first thing that went through your head when you first heard, okay, venues are going to be closed?
Well, March 15th, I went to an open mic that Ryan Talmo, the Valley Jesus, was running at Liquid Zoo, because I thought this might be the last time we get to do comedy. I even did a Facebook Live on the way in and the way out, just basically reviewing that situation. And I was like, I'm going, this is not usually a mic that I go to, but I'm going to go because it might be the last opportunity. And then like a few days later, I saw Zara Khan do a Zoom show, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's what I want to do. So I talked to her and she told me what she did and what the requirements were. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And I went out and bought a brand new laptop, got the Zoom app, and started asking all my friends, hey, you want to be on my Zoom show? And they were all like 95% were like, hell yeah. So I had the thing booked like 6 weeks out.
Wow.
So
Nice.
I just started doing it. I just jumped in with both feet and started doing it. Well, here comes May. I've got my Zoom show. I actually had like 3 or 4 Zoom shows at one point. It was a lot. But I heard that they were going to do a live open mic, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to that. So these guys from San Diego came up. They had an FM transmitter, and it was a drive-up show. Like, you could sit in your car and listen to it over your car stereo, like everybody's doing now. So I was like, okay, I'm going to that. And then as soon as I went to that, I was like, that like experience that people have when they first start doing a drug and they're chasing that high like for the rest of their lives. That's the euphoria that I felt of doing open mic, open like air comedy, like out in the wild. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, oh, it was so awesome. Like, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm doing this. And I was like, I'm getting me an FM transmitter. I'm going to be doing this. This is what I'm doing. So here comes July. We've been doing this open mic every week with those guys. And then July, they were like, we're putting on a show. We're going to have like people pay to come see the show. And I was like, hell yeah. And then they were like, and it's going to be on Saturday, so we won't be here to do this. And I was like, well, what's going to happen with this? And they're like, well, if you want to take it over. I was like, hell yeah, I want to take it over. And they're like, we'll get you a transmitter. And I was like, yes, totally. So like a week later, they're like, we have the transmitter, but we don't have time to bring it to LA. I was like, I'll drive to San Diego. Hell yes, I will. So I drove down to San Diego, got the transmitter, came back, did the park show, which in July I also started an open mic and a book show at 2 different spots. And then I took over the drive up show. So I was doing 3 live shows and then 3 Zoom shows a week. Because I don't know how to say no to comedy is what it is. And then yeah, so I started taking over that, and then it's just been like gangbusters ever since. I have since added, I dropped one of the Zoom shows, so I'm doing just 2 Zoom shows a week, and then I started 2 other open mics because that was crazy.
Wow, that's awesome.
But
I like
to address the safety issue, I was lucky enough to have a 5-pack of Clorox wipes at home when the pandemic started. And because you couldn't buy that stuff at anywhere really, especially back in last March, April, May, maybe even to June.
You can't replace it with Everclear on Kleenex. It doesn't.
No. I'm not gonna work it that way. So luckily, I had all these wipes, and so when I started doing these park shows, I was in business. I had a speaker, a block rocker. And then I had a microphone that came with it, and I started, I was like, why can't I do this? I'll just do this. And I started doing it. So I had Clorox wipes, we had masks, and that's what we've been doing. And then, luckily, by the time that Clorox wipe supply was running out, they started being able to buy them. So yeah, I keep like a giant bag full of Clorox wipes in the back of my car. So we wipe the mic between every comedian. Wipe the mic stand. We wear masks until it's our turn to go up. And I think that, I did get the COVID, but I did not get it from a comedian. I got it from, a civilian.
A civilian.
Wow.
I'm going to start calling people that aren't funny civilians now. Like, next time I go next to one of the people at work and they're just like, they never laugh at anything, I go, "You're such a civilian." And I'll walk away and I'll leave them. I'll leave them with that to think about it for the rest of the day.
So yeah, that's what we've been doing to stay safe, and all the shows are outside. We do the Pan Pacific Park. It's an open air amphitheater. The rows are 6 feet apart. Dana can tell you, she's been there, Dana. And it's lovely. It's every Saturday at 3:00. And we've just been super lucky. Like that park is technically closed. We tried to talk about getting permits from the city, and they're like, "We're closed. It's first come, first serve. Do what you want to do." And we've just been very, very lucky. I've been usurped, I like to call it, like 3 times. Like there was a kid party, there was a Trump rally, and some kind of spoken word thing. I showed up to do my show, and they were already there, and I was like, "Damn it!" I felt so like I just was like, "No, they can't have this. This is my spot." But we persevered. I got rained out a couple weeks ago. Like we showed up even in the rain. Like it was not raining when we got there, but like a half an hour into the show, after 3 people got up, it was really raining. So like I was like, "Damn it!"
I want to tell a quick joke. Just a real quick dirty joke. Male strippers call a good night getting rained out.
Hey. Even if we had to move the spot somewhere else in the park, we still did the shows. So it's been great. It's been awesome, and we love it. And I'm just going to keep riding this wave until the, clubs start opening back up. And I have seen a lot more indoor spaces being utilized. I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. So, I mean, comedy's not going to stop. That's not going to happen. Even if the comedy store is closed, even if the improv's closed, they're still going to be out here doing it. It's just basically guerrilla style right now.
It's kind of interesting because we brought up on the show many times that there's certain comics that will not do Zoom shows, and actually I've heard some people think about it, but I actually thought about that the other day about certain comics that won't do Zoom shows. I think that there are certain comics that got to a level prior to COVID that they are still under the rule of once it's on TV, you can't use it again. Mm-hmm. And what they're worried about is anyone can record your Zoom show. We know this. I mean, they can.
Yeah, you can.
And I think they're concerned, some of the bigger names are concerned that because they're with the older model, that they're known well enough, someone's going to grab this recording. I can't use this now on a special I was going to do like later. And maybe just rethink, maybe not to judge so harshly some of the people that might be out there that aren't doing the Zoom shows. Because I was thinking about that. I was like, oh wait, that might be Napster in them or something.
Whereas, I don't know. I've had national headliners on my Zoom show. I've had, some pretty big names that have done my Zoom show. And to be fair, I have had a few comedians ask me, is this going to be living in perpetuity on your page? And yes, it is. So you can go to the World's Best Laugh on Facebook, and I've got a page for that. And you can see all my old shows. And I mean, there's everything from mild to wild on my shows, really. But it's just a lot of fun, really. It's called the World's Best Laugh for a reason.
Because you have that. I thought it was because you have the world's best laugh,
That's how I got into comedy. I went to go see a friend of mine do a showcase. He'd taken a class, and then they did the showcase. That's how that goes. And then I went to the show, and 2 comedians came up to me afterwards, and they were like, "Oh my God, you have the best laugh. You have to come to every show." And I was like, "Okay." And then I started just going to their shows and then making more friends with more comedians and going to more shows and making friends with producers. And producer was like, you should be doing this. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I'm going to put you in a show next month. And I was like, well, then I better write some jokes.
So when did that happen, Carol? How long have you been doing comedy?
That was 2012.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. So you haven't been, so you're not even 10 years in yet. Not yet. Almost. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself producing at, like, you're doing all this great work now, but however the rollout happens of the world opening back up, what are the venues that you may be producing at, or do you think you're going to continue your park shows? Like, how does the world look to you when we are open again?
I am open to all opportunities. I have done some hosting and booking at indoor places. The Lexington downtown, I'm sure you're aware that they're still doing stuff. And so, yeah, I've done that. And I would be open to any and all opportunities to do hosting, booking, producing, show running, all of that, anywhere that is available to me. And here's the thing, like, I've been doing a lot of open mics for a long time now, since July of last year. So I have like a stable basically of comedians, of people that are doing these outdoor shows and people that are doing the Zoom shows too, because some of them are willing to go out and do the open air, stuff like that. So I'm sure that once, people are feeling more safe to be indoors, yes, I very much want to, move into that arena for sure.
Okay. Well,
I want to get
definitely
something.
an arena would be great.
Oh my Lord.
There's already talks of, I believe the LA Public Health has been announcing that they're going to play out these next 2 weeks with the mass vaccinations, coming out and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And we should be hearing something about open venues by maybe the end of March. Yes. Mm-hmm. No, actually sooner than that. I think the target is Memorial Day weekend. At 10% capacity. Which is better than nothing.
The good news,
better than nothing.
The U.S. has bought apparently enough vaccines to vaccinate every man, woman, and child now. In America, the U.S. actually bought that.
Let me just say this. I found out an interesting fact today. I was talking to a friend. She just got vaccinated. She took her husband. And so and I filled out a thing to get on a wait list. And then she told me about another place. In California, we have the highest rates, and we have also the largest percentage of people not taking vaccines, not showing up for appointments. 25%. Everywhere else in the country, it's about 10% not showing up. Here, we are not showing up at 25%. So my good girlfriend, who she actually works for the Red Cross. She was just like, at first she felt like, well, let's wait for those who are in line, 65 and older, all these things. But she was like, vaccines are going to waste. So I would rather, I'm actually going on Monday to jump in a line and see, get it done.
So soon, Carol, we will have these live shows.
Yay!
Hug again. My daughter's like, it's been okay to be at home, but I can't wait to hug my friends. And I went, all right, as much as Dad loves working from home, fucking COVID ends, she needs to hug her friends.
Oh yeah, my daughter wants to play with her friends. What I was gonna say too is, hearing about all the show stuff, I would like to get shows in even the Torrance area, Carol, because I don't know of any stuff in Torrance. I think you were telling me there was something going in Gardena, or I don't know if it still is or something.
Yeah, there was an open mic at the Brothers open mic with Eric Escobar they were doing that in Gardena. And I do have an open mic in San Pedro on Monday night, which is good for the people in the South Bay and Long Beach area. Yeah. But yeah, for sure, I would love to, do something, like the Crest or Keegan's or one of those places.
The Crest with my bands. Wow. I know that spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Where was the Crest again?
Carson and Cabrillo.
It's in Old Torrance. It's in
Old Torrance.
Is it kind of close to the shore in like a semi-industrial area?
No. It's like the old part of Torrance where they still have like the old post office and they have
Torrance
like a little open
Bakery.
air bakeries and
the Wells
restaurants
Fargo
and stuff
Bank
like
of
that.
America. Yeah.
Okay, now I can
Dan, that
confidently
place
say,
is great for
Down the street from
stand-up
Honda.
comedy. Yeah.
now I can confidently say I haven't played there.
Yeah, there's the Crest, and there's another spot around the corner, which I can't
Like
remember.
Keegan's.
Keegan's, the Irish pub, I
Mhm.
believe it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen some
wow.
people do
Okay.
stand up there before I was, we did a metal music gig, and we were doing a stand up show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I
Yeah, those
definitely
are
want to do.
viable places. And like I said, I've got comedians that they come down to San Pedro. They live out here or live in the valley, and they'll come down there. So why not?
That's one of my goals. I want to make like a really, good comic scene because there's not really one in Torrance that I've seen.
No.
Not really.
You gotta have a good comic scene. And then, by the way, speaking of Keegan's, I think if I was to be there, I would also open a gym next to it called Kegels. Kegels, you should see the machines.
Go drink a beer.
I should have known you would not be able to resist that. Like it came to mind because obviously some of us are still dealing with strengthening and re-strengthening our kegels over here. But I was
sometimes during the show,
I was like, he's not going to be able to. Someone's going to pick it up off the table. I was like, if you don't pick it off the table, somebody's going to grab it. So,
Dan will. Dan will.
I think it's funny that you talk about like strengthening with kegels, and then you say pick up off the table because that's one of the party tricks. That never mind. Let's just.
Man,
that went down so fast. It went down so fast, and I didn't even need to contribute
right into the toilet.
That's my specialty.
But definitely, we're gonna have to once things get better as far as vaccine, because that's one of the things. My wife's got to get vaccinated because she's a teacher, and definitely when I get vaccinated, I'll definitely have to be talking to you about doing some live shows with you.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Definitely, I'm gonna do my best to secure a club or two down in the Torrance area, because once stuff can really safely go live, like indoors type stuff.
Yeah, you gotta have the ground floor, man.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
Hopefully by that point we have some sort of law in place to put a scarlet letter on the people that don't vaccinate.
Well,
like at some point we will have herd immunity between the people who've gotten it and survived it and the people who are getting vaccinated. Then it won't really matter if you don't get the vaccine because so much of the percentage of the population will have been either exposed or vaccinated for it that it's not going to be an issue.
Right, because it's not approved for children at this time. And even though my son is 18, but I'm still kind of like, by law you get to decide for yourself, but I'm kind of like
for now.
I don't necessarily want him to take it because I just feel like there's too much of his body even at 18 that's still changing. So it's not my preference, but I'm
maybe 21, Dana, like 21. Right.
I agree,
but be fine, but 18, 19, probably not.
Yeah, I said you're a teenager to me, and I don't. And even though you're a 6 foot whatever teenager, you're still in my mind. I prefer you not.
That's kind of what I'm kind of waiting for here, and I'm gonna get vaccinated, but I want to hear a little bit more about side effects or other things. I'm still gonna get it regardless, but I would still like to hear more.
Luckily, kind of luckily, I got it for Christmas. Not what I asked Santa Claus for, but that's what I got. So I have the 90 days of immunity minimum, 90 days. I'm gonna wait till at least the 90-day mark to even start entertaining getting the vaccination. So we'll see how that goes. I definitely don't want to get it again, though. It was not fun at all. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah.
So did we want to dip into bringing Victoria and do the segment?
Well, we're a little bit.
We have a little time. Like what's and let's do it. Is Victoria still here?
Yeah, she's.
Let's do it.
And it definitely.
So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do the final one. We're gonna talk about Valentine's Day.
Right.
And versus we certainly Singles Awareness Day.
Carol and Victoria meet each other. Like, have you guys met?
Hi.
Okay, you're muted.
You're muted, Victoria. We can't hear you.
Unmute.
No, it doesn't. There we go.
I'm back.
Yes.
Victoria's a fantastic.
Hey, Carol. It's nice to meet you. I was in the green room listening to What a Boss Lady You Are, and you being like, I wish somebody would tell me to put down a mic because here.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to finally meet you. I actually did go to one of your shows in Pan Pacific Park. It was so much fun.
Oh, nice. Oh, thank you so much. It's a lot of fun. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linson.
So apparently a lot of people aren't aware that the day after Valentine's Day is Singles Awareness Day. Now, I think what's important about Singles Awareness Day is you know your friends. You know which friends want to hear about your night before, and you know which friends don't want to hear about your night before. Your guy friends don't want to fucking hear about your night before if they didn't have a night before. I'm telling you right now. Okay, because no matter how much magic marker we put on our hand, it never ever looks like that actress we were trying to think about.
My Lord.
So be nice to your single male friends
and lady friends.
Singles Awareness Day. Well, now I gotta say that in my experience, ladies are actually more diverse in this. There are single ladies who are very happy to hear about their friend's experience. Guys don't give a fuck. That's you. I don't give a shit. But I have met women that are very happy, even if it's not their experience, to actually hear from their friend, which is, I think, a love that us men will never have for each other. Well, sorry, guys.
Let's ask the ladies if they do feel that way. Ladies.
Yeah. Well, do any of you? I don't think it's all women. I think there are women that go, I don't want to hear about this shit right now. I didn't have that. But yeah, let's ask the ladies.
Who would like
do
to go
you fall
first?
into any camp?
All right.
You want to go first, Carol?
Sure. I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I'm sort of in a relationship right now. So, like, I got plans. I definitely have. I'm gonna get some chocolate on Sunday. Let me tell you that. Yeah, I've been dating black guys for the last year and a half. So that's why.
Awesome. Yeah.
The rumors are true, you guys. The rumors are true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I've heard that line in a movie.
The rumors are true, or I've been dating black guys for the past year. Which line?
The rumors are true. The rumors are true. I love that movie.
On average, larger than average. So I will be getting some on Sundays. I don't know. I mean, like, if I wasn't in a relationship, I probably wouldn't want to hear about it for sure.
Really? Interesting.
Okay. What about you, Victoria?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can say that I am single and effectively bitter, and yet like just stewing in my hatred. But at the same time, I am happy to hear about Carol getting penetrated by that long black penis. I honestly, like, because we all want to know. Even Ed was like, "Wait a minute, you getting drilled? Did you say yes and yes, black dude?" Which I'm still like, oh, we're gonna have to talk about that later. Why are you happy? But at the end of the day, I love the encouragement. I am that single friend that has nothing but friends and relationships, and I don't envy them at all because honestly, like, I love men, but I don't like them. So,
that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's very complicated. So I do love to live vicariously through my friends. Although, Carol, I would have to say you've been dating black penis for a year. I've been dating black penis since I was 15.
Oh shit!
Okay. So I'm telling you,
I would have started sooner if I had known.
Love comes in all shapes and sizes. The rumors, like what you are is blessed. That the Lord put several thick and worthy specimens before you in the name of Jesus, so you worship. But at the end of the day, let me just explain to you very clearly. I have seen and know that they vary,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Carol, I played football for 15 years. I've seen them all in the locker room. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
the
right,
wordplay,
right?
the
Right,
wordplay
right,
is
yeah,
the wordplay is they all come in different shapes and sizes.
Factual, and I love your writing, Dan. So,
Mhm.
but yeah,
I like to
no, like,
say,
I love it. I love to hear about it. I'm happy to I even hit my friends up and was like, "Girl, what are you doing for Valentine's?" Because you already know she gonna plan it, and then just email him, be like, "Look, you got me this. We're going here. Don't mess up because you're gonna be in trouble." And so, yeah, I get off on hearing about my friends' love lives, and then I just go to my lonely apartment and appreciate the quiet.
See, I'm not totally wrong. I'm not totally wrong. We proved it.
Yeah, no, because women are supportive, and also
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I feel like I want my friends to be happy. I want them to experience love. And Valentine's Day is like the day that we get treated like queens. And then also I got like the bestest friends because they give me Valentines and they bring me flowers too, because that's what girls are. Like, we're so romantic. So yeah, like I just be living vicarious, because whenever I'm dating on Valentine's Day, for some reason I always wind up breaking up, because it's just it's just like my birthday falls in, and then Valentine's is that next week, and it's just like something inside of me is like, I'm getting another year older. Like, fuck the bullshit. I'm sorry, I really do care about you, but you gotta go. I'm growing. I have matured since yesterday, and this shit is irking the fuck out of me. I am single again on Valentine's. Girl, what are you doing? So yeah,
you're doing cheap guys. They just break up you so they don't have to buy you stuff.
That is funny, Victoria. Like, I mean, here's the thing. I've always had beef because my birthday's the day after Christmas and we get nothing. And you're like, I'm not risking it. Fuck that. Give me the birthday gift, Valentine. I'm not risking that you're not going to give me something on Valentine's because it's too close. I'm out. Like, that's
let's not play this game. I've matured again, and I woke up and was like, I'm over it. Like,
I'm like, thank you for that.
It's funny you say that, Dana. I married my wife on her 21st birthday, but right then she's like, "Hey, if we're getting married on my birthday, you got to promise me I get like a birthday gift and a wedding anniversary gift. You don't like combo up on that shit, okay?"
Amen.
No?
Amen. Say that. I feel that.
So Dana, I think you're at least for the room, you're gonna be a tiebreaker, not for the world, but for the room. Are you one that is happy to hear? Well, when you're single, happy to hear about it. The next day from your female friends, or not?
Whew.
Oh my gosh, she's gonna be the gray area. Damn it.
I'm trying not to be. I don't have a higher answer except for that. Probably, to be frank, my higher self is probably jealous. Let me just say, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't have, like, I had a higher ground answer for Ed on Tuesday, but I'm not that involved. Because I'm tired of being aware of how single I am. Like, I'm tired of my Singles Awareness Day. Let me just say this: when you're fucking single, is every day. Singles Awareness Day is every day when you don't have anybody. And so I would just say probably. I will humor them, but do I really want to hear it? I'm glad for them, but I don't know if I want to hear it. I'll say it like that. So I don't think I want to hear it, but I am glad for them, because I gotta, like, how it is, karma and manifestation. I have to find some positivity, because if I want to draw that to me, I've got to find a positive space. But am I going to be patient enough to, like, listen to you without texting or scrolling while you're talking to me? Probably not. I'll probably be texting.
He's like, I don't want to hear the whole story. I don't care what. I don't care what shape the bed was in.
I don't care how much C's candy. Shit, if somebody would just give me some C's candy, I probably wouldn't be jealous. If you just give me some C's candy and make me some brownies, I probably listen to anything anybody got to say.
Hell yeah.
That I will have either.
There are brownies that will make it easier to listen to what anybody has to say.
That's true. Yes, that is very true. I had a friend. To this day, he's still my friend. He was in my band, but he was a very braggadocious gentleman. But yeah, that's all. Like, Valentine's Day or anything like that. We'd all just be hanging out, and then you didn't have to ask. He was gonna tell you no matter what. And you didn't want to know, and there was details in there you didn't want to know, because you knew you're going to see this lady most likely within a few days, you know. And oh man, oh yeah,
And you
and
want to be able to look at her with a straight face.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the worst was when I was attracted to this lady, and you know, I was trying to go out with her, and then one day he comes back, and he knew I liked her, right? And he straight up told me everything. He told me everything. Hey man, you know, we were hanging out, and you know, this happened, that. Oh man, you know.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, and I was like, I fucking hate you. I love you, but I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Your friend. Oh my god.
Oh no, I know. It broke my heart. He's like, you ain't mad, right? We still boys.
You know, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, Steph, I used to try to play like the Cupid at work, and where I had to hit some hit or misses, right? But a lot of my female coworkers, like they, for example, Carol, my female coworkers never been with a black dude, right? And I'm like, what you talking about? Like, what? They're like, have you been with a black dude? I'm like, no comment, shut up. But I'm kidding. So you know, I'm just like, you know, fancying the idea, and I'm like, why not? And they just, it's kind of taboo, whatever. And then vice versa with my black buddies, they're like, oh, have you ever been with a Latina or whatever? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh man, okay, well, whatever, you know. And but my female friends, they're like, so you have any friends? I'm like, what's up? I'm gonna call. Like, I'll shoot a text, I'll shoot a DM, whatever. And I paired up my friend Calvin, who I grew up in Koreatown with for a while, and you know, met up with this total Burbank, you know, Caucasian girl, born and raised in Burbank. And I'm just like, have you ever been out of the 5 freeway and all that area? She's like, no. And I'm like, you ever heard of Mid-City? She's like, where? And I'm like, 10 freeway. She goes, oh no, I've never been out there. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, hold up. So we met at like kind of like a neutral ground. We met up at I took him to my favorite place, which is Roscoe's right there by the Palladium. And she's never had that before, and she's like, what is this food? I'm like, trust me, I mean, it's not the greatest. I go, but this is a really hot spot. So we went there, and this is like 04, 05, when, you know, things are really, really happening out there. And so this is in January, like maybe the last week of January, and they paired up. They hit it off. He's a real LA guy, like I am, real city boy. And she's a Valley girl. So he was just like, he keeps texting me like, oh, man, what am I feeling here, man? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Just go with it. What do you want me to tell you? And
called a boner.
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean, there's other stuff too. There's other stuff too, but part of it is a boner. I swear.
Yeah. So Dan, I'm asking him like, so what you guys do? I mean, for being a city guy, I mean, he wasn't like, she was ready to like just pounce, right? But he was like, hold up. And she was like, what? And, you know, she was fully attracted to him. And then she was telling me at work, like, oh my God. And I'm like, hold on. Like, all right. So how'd it go? Like that's me trying to like, how did it go? Like trying to like kind of probe the situation, see if I actually made the right match, whatever. That was 04, right? Their Valentine's date was a disaster. The reservations didn't go through. They had a flat on the 110. It was just bonkers, right? How to go pick them up. It started raining. 17 years later, 3 kids, 4 dogs, homeowners.
Wow.
Wait, they did adopt the dogs, right? Like they didn't have them.
I don't know what but and one of their kids is like a big prospect in college football or something like that. And he's got literally like he's like maybe like Denzel kind of like complexion, right? And she's straight up like she looks like Scarlett Johansson, like white, like kind of Russian white.
Yeah.
So but so the kids look just like Patrick Mahomes. I'm just like, man, you kids are beautiful. Hi, man. Arena.
Like, total
and
woman.
I'm just like, it was crazy because I'm just like, this girl that I used to work with a long time ago, selling cell phones. Granted, she says she would never date a black dude, and not for racial disparity reasons. She wouldn't. Why? Because it was too intimidating. And I'm just like, what? Like, I'm like, I'm 6'3". I'm like, this cat's like just as high as me. What's the same size? And for her, it was just like, I think what it was is it's like that color marketing class I took, where I guess the color black is very like superior, very dominant, very authoritative, right? And like, you know, then there's other colors that, you know, are quite they have different definitions. Like, was it orange creates anxiety, or why most fast food restaurants are red and yellow? Did you guys ever hear about that?
Well, orange is warning because of that. It's the warning.
Really?
Color, yeah. Orange creates anxiety. It makes you stop and go, why the fuck is that orange? Which is why it took so long for humans to decide that there was fruit inside of an orange. They were like,
so check this out. The reason why fast food restaurant colors are red and yellow is because yellow makes you anxious and red strikes up like a hormonal boost in you. So it reminds you you're hungry.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, well, because it starts the oral fixation. That's what it's called. You see red and you're just like, I got to put something in my mouth right now. Right now.
Like in LA, what's the one color car that would always get pulled over all the time?
Red.
Yeah.
By the way, notice our theme, everybody. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to do. We want you to put something in your mouth while you're watching our show.
We want you to and Ed raised
food.
Too. And Ed has a cover on his beer bottle. What is that, Ed? Is that a ginger beer or is that
No, it's New England's finest, Samuel Adams.
Nice.
Sponsor me, but okay.
Yeah, right. Glow Lava says, "Any more friends, Ed?" And happy belated birthday. That's what Glow Lava says. Any more friends?
Yeah, I know. I got a ton, and I mean, being a city kid, it's just like they came, and I mean, and it was funny because I was discussing that on my podcast a while back. Carol, I didn't know what racism was till I was 13. So for me, growing up with multiculturalism was like normal. To me, it was like normal. Right. I'm like, oh, okay. And then coming to San Gabriel Valley, same thing. And but then I took the magical voyage to Orange County. So that's where I got my crash course in racism. I was like,
when I learned what racism was,
I was gonna say I have two sisters, and they both have biracial children. Like all of their kids, for the most part, are biracial.
That's so awesome.
I was the last one to come to party. I'm the
oldest. When I learned the definition of racism, I was like, wait, is that what we're supposed to call my uncle?
And not because of racism. It's just that I was married for 22 years, so I, back 22 years ago, that was like not a thing. You just didn't do that. It wasn't as open as it is now. And then when things ended with my husband, I was like, well, I should try it. And then I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I always tell my these female friends that I used to work with, I'm like, hey, look, you've been eating, canned food for what, 20 years? I'm like, don't you want a home cooked meal for once, like from scratch, veggies chopped, even if it's fried food, like, hey, there's a fryer, there's a fryer, they use specific oils, peanut oil. That could make you a chicken fucking sandwich, a legit one too.
Come on, Ed, with the similes and the comparisons.
Exactly. Yeah.
The metaphor building.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is I've gone there and I'm not going back.
Dana is like, clutch my pearls. Well, because y'all, it's funny because Dana is from Alabama and I'm from Georgia. So it's like I started with the racism straight out the gate. And then I came to LA and was like, oh, I'm a person.
Yeah.
Yes, by myself. Like I'm just a human. Like and like there's African Black people, and then there's like white people that's from like
Sweden,
Yugoslavia, white people. Like you trying to tell me I could feel comfortable 24/7? Excuse me. Culver City. So
Yeah, exactly.
you know, it's an interesting thing. Like I grew up, my high school, like Atlanta, Georgia, is very Black, and so 99% Black kids at my school. We had one Vietnamese guy named James that was cool, but other than that, like, you know, they were Black. And then I went to school, HBCU, Bethune-Cookman University. Shout out. So like, you know, but it was cool because Atlanta is also like low-key militant. So like we grew up learning about slavery. Like we was traumatized real early, like elementary school. They was like, all right, Middle Passage, Roots, Mandingo, also Soul Train, because all of y'all need to learn how to dance. And let's move it along. And then as I got, you know, a little older, I finished my schooling in Georgia State. And that was like my first time like truly interacting with white people outside of Saved by the Bell.
Rest in peace. We're not all Stacey Slater.
Right. Yeah, because I was like, you know, white people seem really nice. You know what I'm saying? They cheerlead, you know, they got cool parents and like, you know, they go to the max. All right, cool. But like I got
and they take pot seriously as a drug.
Not only that, rest in peace, the guy who played Screech.
Right.
Yeah, Dustin Diamond, man.
That was tragic.
44.
Devastating.
Damn, he was that young? What did he die from?
Yeah.
Cancer.
Was not self-inflicted. It was cancer.
And fear.
Wow.
Like fear of being made fun of because he had a huge tumor in his neck and he didn't want to be out in public, photographed and be made fun of. So he stayed home instead of going to the hospital until the pain was unbearable. And by that time, he was at a stage where they couldn't do anything about it for him. So he died of cancer and of like being a public figure and just literally living with it and his own personality and how it intersected.
Wow.
Yeah, but his legend lives on forever. Everyone remembers him for, even his stand-up was actually pretty good. It wasn't that bad. But still, like, well, I mean, Carol, I'm being nice. I mean, I mean, of course, just like any other comedian, he had his bombing moments more than once, twice, thrice, 4 times. But
it just scares me because I do a bunch of funny voices too.
Do you?
I should be careful.
Non sequitur. Like, help us. What was the connection was?
It's just I don't want to get throat cancer because I do funny voices.
We there. We connected.
Smoking cigarettes then? Like what?
I will tell you that my old vocal coach back when I used to do it used to tell me, don't do anything inward. Oh, sorry. We can't hear you, Carol.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, we don't do anything inward. And I was just, I don't know. For some reason, all those thoughts came together. And I thought about him doing like, oh, hey, everybody. And I just thought of like, she didn't like the fact that I would do this kind of scream. She'd go, no, that's going to hurt your voice over time. Don't do that. That will rip your throat up. And for some reason, all the thoughts came together at once when you mentioned that it was throat cancer. And I'm like, now this fear is coming to me. Oh, shit. Did I do that scream too much?
No, you know what's interesting, Dan? You bring that up because, you know, I think the three of us, me, Steph, and Dan, you know, we've been in the heavy metal scene for quite some time. And even me being a freestyler in the hip hop scene, you create nodules in your throat.
Right. That's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say.
And, you know, even from some of the rappers I used to coach, like, hey, you know, it's got to come from the diaphragm. And even some stand-up comedians, surprisingly, I don't know why they would come to me. Like, hey, how do you do that? I have to be able to do that on stage. And I'm just like, well, it doesn't come from your chest. It comes from your diaphragm. Right. And what's the number one thing? Like, diaphragm, you mean like that thing the girls use? And I'm like, no, not that diaphragm.
Diaphragm. Right. And thank you for that, because even even a lot of gospel singers, because they sing from here and not from the diaphragm, they've known in the gospel music community that they struggle. You know, and even somebody like a John Legend who knows what they're doing, like Justin Tim, like all of them have dealt with polyps on their throat.
Adele had throat surgery, for crying out loud. It's like
James Hetfield.
It happens.
And just so you know, though, Dustin Diamond actually died of lung cancer. He probably
lung cancer.
The growth
It may
was
have-
in his
They
neck,
said
but
the
it was
growth may have been in his throat, but he actually had small cell lung cancer, so he didn't. It wasn't throat cancer.
Man.
It still sucks. All of it still sucks. But just so you, if that would assuage your concern, he did not die of throat cancer, but he did get,
I'm still concerned with what Ed said because Stefan and I spent plenty of years going, "Hello, everyone," and I still do it now. I still record that voice.
But
and it's like, oh crap, how long can I do that for before it catches up?
But you would know now because again, Justin Timberlake people don't realize it, but he was down from singing for a while, and that was why. Like I said, John Legend has talked about having the challenges and having kind of stuff. So
and of course DMX had a lot of issues with his throat too. So
I guess it's just like
you guys know why. He was a shouter. So
DMX has a huge voice. Yeah, by the way, I loved him in that one game they had Def Jam, like the Def Jam one where they fight. Yes, he was my favorite character. He beat people's ass. Yeah, Def Jam Vendetta. You beat people's ass with DMX, and then you do that Super Pal driver. Oh, beautiful.
Okay. Well, on that note, we want to end tonight and say thank you to Jess, Victoria, and Carol for coming, hanging out with us, and doing the podcast. And we want to thank everybody else who came to hang out with us. Ronnie, Glow. Let's see who else here. Nicole,
so many. We got Lynn's son,
Nick, Lynn's son,
Richard, Young X Rizit. I can't read your name. I'm sorry.
We have a Dan Ochoa in there too.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, Dan Ochoa tuned in.
All right,
Richard Lopez.
Did we say Ronnie Schooner already with his 90 proof? I'll message you about that Everclear, Ronnie. I am interested.
And we want to thank also Ed for coming to help host.
That's
of course, man. Anytime.
The good brother.
We will see everyone next week. And thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes.
Party, February 20th.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you have something you want to plug? Anybody have anything?
I don't know if anybody is in the San Clemente area, but I am actually doing an outdoor show at, I'm trying to pull it up really fast. Knucklehead. Oh, thank you.
Been there.
Knuckleheads. Wow.
I've never been there. This will be my first time. 1717 North. Oh, yay. Carol, are you coming? 1717 North El Camino Real, San Clemente. It's an outdoor show. And so that's tomorrow night at 8:00. You guys just, if you can't make it, just send us high vibes. I'm honestly a little nervous. I've had two, thanks to Carol. Carol was my second outdoor show, but I won't, for the family, it's still kind of a lot to go up, because it's not something that we're doing regularly.
You'll do great. You'll do great. I believe
you'll be fine.
May the force be with you.
Always. Yay, force. Yes, sir.
Nanu.
I'm so bad at that.
I just don't like the fact that they call it the force. It sounds so unconsensual.
Oh my lord!
Like this, two in front of the L, like that.
Oh, okay, thank you. I've never done that before. I feel important. Ed taught me.
L.A.
Did you have any shows that you want to plug, Carol?
Yeah, Victoria, Carol. That was really for y'all.
Thank you. Victoria, I just want to send an invitation. Come by Pan Pacific. Let me know you're there, and I'll put you up. I do these pop-in spots for, special friends. So come by and I'll see you at the park. Or if not, I will see you soon, I'm sure.
All right. Well, there you go. Like, you can see me at the park if you want to get as I told my friend, if you want full body comedy, you can see me at the park. If you just want the hood, I'm going to be doing some clean comedy with jokes from home. And then you can find all that information on at Victoria Stand Up. So
when is your Jokes from Home show? Is it this Friday or
the
next
19th? It's on the 19th.
Okay, amen.
We got their info. Wait, here we go. Down below.
We love that.
At the bottom, right here.
We love that. Mayor, at some point we want to have Mayor on the broadcast. Another great comedy producer, Mayor Chohan. He took a little sabbatical or a little something, but glad to hear he's back and following in the tradition of Carol. We've got so many. We've had some of them on, you guys. So make sure follow Carol, the world's best laugh. Follow Victoria Stand Up, you guys, and get these laughs. Get these laughs, man.
And next week we have Desiree Walsh from Canada.
Desiree
and Cole Sala who's a local comedian as well. So again, we will see you all next week. Thank you very much.
Woo!